Hey, funny things. And we're gone. Hello, everybody. Hello, Dragon
Joe's
Stranger.
been
Why are
hitting
you
that
always late?
1,000-year nap.
This isn't what I sponsored to be quite funny. No, please don't. Actually, I was just reading your tweet, Dragon Treasure, about Dev. Right as we started here. We're late tonight.
How is he taking the resignation, by the way?
I don't know yet, but did you see his recent video on defending the activities of the FBI at Ruby Ridge?
It's the ATF.
Or was it ATF? I thought the FBI was involved as well.
I am not remotely
They both were
surprised that
involved.
the man is going to defend absolutely anything the state does.
Let me
like
tell
a
you
good
what,
little
I watched his
simp that he
video.
is.
I was flabbergasted, Spoon. I was
Is it that bad?
flabbergasted. He said that because... Now, if you know anything about the Ruby Ridge situation, these people were not contacted that they were supposed to do anything. They did not have a phone. They didn't send them letters, even though this is in the early 1990s.
All right.
I get not having a phone is
They lived off
perhaps
grid.
weird by the 90s, but they lived off the grid. What Dev said, and I am only slightly paraphrasing here, is that they deserved what happened to them because they lived off the grid. So it was like, you get what you deserve. That the government was right to step in and murder them, to murder that man's family over missing a court date, because that's not fair what happened at Ruby Ridge. That the U.S. government was justified in moving in, killing that man's wife, his infant child, and their dog because they didn't show up for a court date because they didn't have a telephone. It is insanity. But
Objectively crazy, yes.
yeah, and I'm sorry if you believe that, you're a crazy person.
And the sniper
okay?
who shot the wife as she held her infant child was
In her
the same
arms.
sniper who allegedly fired the first shots at Waco.
Yep, allegedly. That's not been, I think, definitively proven.
He was at both
But
sites.
yes.
It's not confirmed whether he fired the shots because guess what? The
Yes.
records are really, really hard to find.
I wonder why
And
they
nothing
are.
was, nothing was
weird.
confirmed as to who fired
Nothing is
first.
suspicious whatsoever.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just like, here's the thing about Dev, who I hate talking about, obviously, but
Yeah, aren't you specifically said you weren't going to be talking about that kind
In fairness,
not about anything related to the things I talked about before. But
it's
when he does
more
stupid
it's
shit
more
like
the
this,
it's more the fact that also Trudeau resigned in disgrace
Yes,
after 10
which
years
we'll be
of
talking about.
desecrating Canada. So I imagine he's not taken that particularly well, considering he's a liberal fag.
I think that
We can say
you know
that
what,
word now.
I said this to Bill
swear to
earlier
God, back.
today, and I think I'm correct. Also, hello everybody, we are joined by Bill tonight.
Hello.
Greetings, Bill.
Hey,
I
hey,
said this to
Google,
Bill.
is that there?
It's up there. What I said earlier today to Bill is that if Trudy had not resigned, I think the Canadian people would have still voted for him because that's how
unfortunately.
self-loathing they are. That's how cucked Canucks are, and not all of them, of course. You know, I know
But enough of them.
Anywhere that looked like it was possibly going to swing back conservative have had Indians brought in until they are a minority in their own country.
Well, that's what. Of course, we're going to get into that as well. But I think that Trudeau probably could have won again because Canadians just vote for him because they love.
They're idiots.
I
Castro.
think there is something coming down the pipeline about him because he's got a whole host of previous sexual accusations from when he was a teacher.
Despite that, they voted for him despite.
No,
all
but
that.
if he, I think that the court cases, I think there's some court cases coming down the pipeline that will actually put him in clink.
No,
'Cause
nothing
you
will
gotta
ever
remember,
happen.
he
Nothing
wasn't
ever
a drama
happens to the
teacher
elites, my dude.
who specifically dealt with like 14-year-old girls.
Yes.
I think he was at a girls' school. So I guarantee you there is something coming down the pipeline they don't want him to be in country for.
No, I think it's just that he is actually so deleterious to Canada that even the elites had to go, no, I think we have to nix Trudy. And I'm sure I'm sure he is in mourning right now, hence why he made that video on Ruby Ridge. What he often does is when he's having
Anything
like,
but to
personal
make
issue,
anything
he
like
says something
recently relevant, I
stupid.
suppose.
Yeah,
How's that
I can't believe
trucker
it.
video going? How's that
Oh,
hit
he's-
piece on you going? Like
Well,
nothing,
yeah.
nothing. Just tripe. Stuff from the 90s. Jesus Christ, as if Ruby Ridge and Wade hadn't been done to death. If Wendigoon's covered it, no one else needs to bother. He is the
No, I
fucking.
had someone message me just today saying like, Dev says he's making a video on you. He's gonna wreck you.
Yeah,
Like,
half-assed
what-
never.
doing
Call
what?
us,
What are you
call
gonna
us when
do?
you're sober.
What are you gonna do, Dev? Call me a pedophile? Call me a sex pest or something? I mean, I don't think you
You
want to
can't
go
be a
down
nonce.
that
You're not on his
fucking road.
server.
Well, yeah, exactly. I don't think you want to go down that road. So you can't go down that road as everyone else just does. Is just because if you don't have anything to say about somebody to try and discredit them, just call them a pedophile. But the unfortunate reality is that Dev allowed pedophiles on his server. So whoopsie doopsie, you can't really argue that one now, can you?
If ever you're in doubt
that was
with
a
what's
really
going on in
good
the world,
shot.
just
That
think to
was well
yourself,
done.
why have the police not been called on Dev's hard drive yet?
Oh,
I don't know.
God, that
But I
was
can't
good.
imagine. But and that's interesting. Well,
Start
why
another.
has
Hang on, I'll
they
tell you
not
what,
been
Dev, if you're
called?
out there listening at home or when your toadies are, go ahead, start another Minecraft server. We'll check your hard drive remotely that way.
Why have they not been called? Look at this recent video on
Oh,
Ruby
God.
Ridge. It's because he worships the
That's good.
federal government. That to me, and I'm going to get into this later when I look, guys, I'm holding it for the end because I'm going to have to go on a rant about West by God, Virginia, because there was an
Jared Taylor has
interesting-
apologized.
Jared Taylor didn't actually say anything super wrong in that conversation.
He came out about it just like 10 minutes ago or so.
I know he made an apology about it, but I understood what I think he meant by that, even at the time. The problem was not Jared Taylor-san. It was Richard Hanania, who, in my opinion, is also a Fed. If you don't know who Richard Hanania is, he used to write for VDR.
I don't trust anyone with more than 2 syllables in their last name. I'm sorry.
He's a Palestinian, okay?
2 syllables in their last name.
Anything with more, if you've got more than 2 syllables in your last name, you're not
okay.
trustworthy. This is a rule.
so
maybe
I-
3, you can edge it out.
I have 2, so I think
You
I'll
have
be
2.
okay.
Bill has 2. I have 1.
Yes.
So,
People who have 1 syllable should also be you should be concerned about. It's like people with 2 last.
me?
It's like people who've got like 3 first names. Like, don't trust those motherfuckers.
never trust. With one exception, that being Ron Paul. I don't trust anyone with 2 first names.
Aiden?
Your last name is not a first name.
No, you said 2 first names.
Yes, so Ron Paul are 2 first names.
Oh, okay, sorry.
If you got a first name for a last name or vice versa, you're not trustworthy.
Oh, okay, I
This
thought
is
you
a
meant.
rule.
I thought you meant
See what I
because because my first name is 2 names.
No.
No, that's a
Yeah, yeah,
hyphenated or
Yeah,
double-barreled name. That's
yeah,
different.
but no, I know what you meant now.
If it's 2 first names like fucking Anne May or Anne Marie or some bullshit like that, that's all right. But with motherfuckers who are like Kensington Smith or some bullshit like that, a double-barreled last name, do not trust those motherfuckers.
Speaking though about Dev and his insanity, not just regarding Ruby Ridge, but we've got some breaking information about Jan 6th, both from Sonny Hosteen, who's a complete abject retard.
Yeah, that was horrible.
We can say retard now. You don't have to like be weird about it. Just call him a spastic.
No, I prefer to say retard. It's funnier that way. And from the actual U.S. population and what they think about January 6th, which, Spoon, oh my god, what the fuck's wrong with my brain? Which Dev continues to insist is like the worst act of terrorism that's ever happened.
You
It
know
should have
what-
been, but everyone's a bunch of fags about it.
But
It feels good to say it again. Holy shit.
By the way, well, we're fucking demonetized now. Thanks a lot. Anyway,
Are we?
we're always demonetized. But, he defends the siege at Ruby Ridge, saying the government was totally entitled to open fire on the Weaver family's dogs and on his wife and
okay, then,
child.
in
Which
that case,
the U.S. government has come out in the year since saying no. The U.S. government said we fucked up here, and Dev says no. In fact, they were right.
like
to do
Lifetime movies make movies about how the government was wrong about this.
Oh, but
Yes.
by the way,
It's
just to
so
say this
well
to Bill,
known.
you know what phrase I recently threw into an American girl's lexicon she thought was really funny is spacker.
Spacker is a good one. Well,
Yeah,
Spacker's been around for a while because Marvel called a character Spacker Dave, and no one
but-
realized what it meant.
Yeah. But,
Apparently, Bill's a bit loud. Okira says.
Is he?
Cairo,
Oh.
sorry.
I'll turn my volume down a bit. I have to keep adjusting my volume because whenever I'm on a stream with
Yeah,
the Geeks and Gamers crowd, they put me down to 27%.
it always depends on different streams, different ways of organizing
I
the
should
audio.
be loud.
So.
I'm carrying this fucking podcast.
Thanks for that, Bill.
Let's start though, however, I want to start, however, with talking about Elon Musk because there's a lot to talk about. We didn't stream
Yeah, my
last
countryman
week.
is now pissing everyone off.
Yeah. We didn't stream
not gonna
last week
defend him,
because
by
it
the
was
way.
New Year's, and we streamed the day after Christmas, I think, or the day after, whatever. So we took a week off.
Thursday, yeah.
Part of that was because I was really, really sick. I was sick all throughout the month of December with one thing or another. It was fucking awful. I've taken 4 allergy pills today. I'm still barely able to talk because my allergies are so goddamn bad. As illustrated. Anywho, I've been feeling awful, but I did just premiere my new video to the people in Discord. That should be live tomorrow on my channel, I believe, as long as YouTube doesn't get weird about it. But Elon Musk has been on a tear for about the last 2 weeks on a bunch of things and has pivoted in a way that is so overtly evident that it makes me feel fucking ill. So we're going to start from about the beginning, which is
He's trying to pull the curtains back. It's not going to work.
Well, yes.
Elon out here like, delicious grindstone. I should put my teeth to it immediately.
Well, he went, delicious slave labor. I love delicious slave labor. And then just walked it all back. And he walked
as
it
I've
back
said a
little
million times
bit,
before,
little
like,
bit.
oh, what's that? A South African elite wants coolies? Why are we surprised by this?
Yeah. Yes, he wants to,
Wants to bring back the railroad.
well,
I like
he
the fact
wants
that you
slave
use
labor.
that word, because that word is actually used in South Africa.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It's what they
why do you think?
call them.
Yes, he used it on purpose.
It's the coloured folk, the people who want to be slaves.
Oh,
but,
no.
you know, when you want
no.
something a little bit more.
Those are not coloured folk. Coloured folk are a different kin.
Depends on the day.
Here, asking to keep Aiden off the
Colored-
sauce. I
colored and
actually have been
Indians are not
really
the same.
trying to cut down my alcohol intake pretty hard. This is my New Year's resolution, guys. I'm gonna replace it with weed, unfortunately, but
With weed.
it's well,
You can get
mild
you can get
THC,
some. Yeah, you can get like a.
because I have
liquid edibles
anxiety.
over here.
You know, I know people are like, "Oh, wow, you're like a stoner." No, I just have severe anxiety. I don't want to take medication for it, and I'll tell you why. Because I've read all the research on anti-anxiety medication, and it often does more harm than good.
I remember
So,
the last
yeah.
time you were prescribed any, and like I had one. I was just violently ill because my
Yeah.
body rejected it.
You know what's really fun to do with Aiden is don't show up on time. Just like be a minute late and she turns into a spaz. It's great fun.
Yeah, he enjoys it. Look how much fun he gets out of my suffering.
It's not
So
like
you're
you don't
always
put me
late.
through your own shit for your own amusement.
What have I ever done to you? Oh, by the way, I called the fucking people I ordered your liquor for Christmas, and now they say they've lost it.
That's not a surprise.
Oh my god. F these people so fucking hard. Like, they say, no, we don't know. Wait, well, we've lost the package. Great, thank you. You're going to send another one then? I guarantee, I meant to call them today, but I lost track of time because I was working all
That
day.
walked off the assembly line into someone's fucking pocket.
Oh yeah, of course it did.
It's Christmas
And but
time,
I'd like
yeah.
to point out how much money I spent just to have it shipped to Ireland. It was
That- by the way,
almost
that
the
was-
cost of the liquor itself.
Yeah, that was your own fault.
Well,
We did.
That-
He did warn you about that supplier. You know,
after
actually,
the fact, yeah.
we did talk to him right after about it, about rejigging
Yeah, I'd
the
already
address.
purchased it. Still, like,
You
whatever.
know,
I don't know.
you know what you should do? You should ask for your money back and then buy it from the place that I buy from.
I guarantee they're not going to give me my money back, but I'll
Charge
deal with
back
them
on the
tomorrow.
fucking banks.
I
Well,
could do
folks at
that.
home, if you get screwed over by someone, go to your bank. They'll charge it back to you. They'll put it back into your account.
Yeah.
And that includes like, I know everyone does this shit already when they're fucking with streamers and stuff, but you know, just don't be fucked about by people.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
also
I-
you ordered from the UK.
Well,
The UK with their massive taxation and shipping freaking strikes right now
yeah,
is
and
hell.
I can't buy anything from Ireland.
Yes, and this is why you should buy from the place that I come from, because the place where I buy from is from Estonia.
Well, true, probably. Anywho, I bought Spoon a nice bottle of Nika whiskey for Christmas.
From the hood.
And a sticker to put on top of it that says Nigga whiskey from the hood.
I
to
like the
put
way
on
you
top
dropped
of-
it on the stream.
But that's what it says. It says Nigga whiskey from the hood, and I got you a sticker. You got the sticker, which is
Well,
astonishing.
I like how we got the word
But not
fag
the
back into
whiskey.
lexicon, but now it's all gone to pot, hasn't it?
Nika, Nikka, Nika whiskey is a very, very famous type of Japanese
Distillery,
whiskey.
yeah.
Yeah. So I got him a bottle of that, and then I got him another sticker to put on top of it, so it says "From the Hood" on it. And then the whiskey itself didn't fucking come in because this company I ordered from are a bunch of fucking incompetent nonsense or something. Infuriating.
It's a posh Japanese whiskey. It went in someone's fucking pocket for Christmas time.
I'm sure it did, and they were just like, "Whoopsie, we don't know what happened." She was like, "Okay, well now my friend didn't get my Christmas present from him, and I feel like shit. But what am I supposed to do?" This is
go away.
Just annoying as hell, man.
That's the place where I usually buy my shit from.
Let me see. Did you send it to me?
I mean, it's
okay.
We'll
just get you a bottle of Tenafly Viper. Like one person in chat.
Where'd you post it?
It's on stream.
Oh, is it in the stream?
Yeah, it's on stream right now. Yeah.
Hey, don't be advertising companies. That's what we're getting kickbacks.
I just see the word ye.
Ye.
Post it in private chat because I can't see it.
It's mybooze.eu. Mybooze.eu. If you're out there, send us a check in the mail.
I don't know. I'm really infuriated though with people I bought this liquor from. I had to call them like three times. 3 times. Because the first time they tried to send it here, and I said, no, I need you to send it to this place in Ireland.
I'll show the one that you bought.
And then they changed they charged me more for the shipping, which was
insane.
See how much.
Remember when this was a politics show?
The same fucking cost as the bottle itself.
Get on with it.
Okay, well let's get on with it then. Let's watch. So how this started was about the end of December, early January. Elon Musk started talking about how great H-1B visas are. Now, because H-1Bs are supposed to be for the most. The top 1%. We're going to look into that. Are H-1Bs actually for the top 1% most skilled migrants in the world? The answer is no, it's not. Yeah, there he is. Nika whiskey from...
Barrel.
The barrel, but my sticker I got for you says Nika whiskey from the hood.
Which I don't think is a wise thing to do when you're moving to South Africa.
That's funny as fuck. Definitely put it on there first. All right, here's Elon is talking here he goes. This is December 27th. He says, stop trying to optimize something that shouldn't exist. Everyone's been trained in high school and college, answer the questions, convergent logic, whatever. Here's where it starts, right? I'm going to work through the timeline. I know most of you have all been through this, and it's gone in a strange direction, so I want to cover the entire story in chronological detail.
Yeah, here we have Elon in his natural habitat, looking like a progeria outbreak at a Smash tournament.
Yeah, those plugs aren't doing so much good for that fucking what's it called? Norwood 10.
The sort of 5-step process. First, make your requirements less dumb. Your requirements are definitely dumb. Does not matter who gave them to you. It's particularly dangerous if a smart person gave you the requirements.
He's relating this to immigration. So don't have requirements. That sounds like a great idea for tech jobs in particular. Don't have requirements.
You might not question them enough. Everyone's wrong, no matter who you are. Everyone's wrong some of the time. So make your requirements less dumb. Then try very hard to delete the part or process. This is actually very important. If you're not occasionally adding things back in, you are not deleting enough. Right. The bias tends to be very strongly towards let's add this part or process step in case we need it. But you can basically make in-case arguments for so many things. And for a rocket that is trying to be the first fully reusable rocket, there's never been a fully reusable rocket. People don't understand. Like, this is
not related to...
He rants on about this, but no, this is being provided as him always having this kind of weird thing of, yeah, you can't tell the professor your question is dumb and you'll get a bad grade. You have to answer the question. So everyone without knowing basically has this mental straitjacket and straitjacket on, and they'll work on optimizing a thing that simply should not exist. There is some truth to that. Let's be clear.
It's working on the Kaizen principle.
But at the same time, that doesn't mean everything is wrong.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure what the hell he's trying to say.
Well,
I maybe
he's
have not
saying
had enough coffee yet.
That don't follow the paths that exist. Find your own path, essentially, right?
Is he talking about the visa thing? Because this is
no. Here he's talking about his rocket stuff. But the reality is that people are relating this clip to his support of H-1B visas.
He got fact check on that, by the way. I recall, because he had nothing to do. He was a Canadian citizen before he came to America, so he did not need the H-1B1 to be in America. That's rubbish.
Yes.
He would have been on
he
zero
did get
anyway.
fact-checked on that. He got fact-checked on that on his own website.
Yeah,
But,
which is great.
yeah. And he is now trying to change the algorithm of said website so that he can't be criticized.
Yeah, how's your old social credit scores going?
Yeah, we'll get into that
mine
in
is
a minute.
fantastically low. I'm very
We
proud
will
to
get
say.
into Spoon's
Lamar.
social credit score on X because it's. I think Spoon is the winner.
I am
So
the
Musk-
king of all things.
Musk inflames X with profane movie quote in defense of H-1B visas. Musk evoked the satirical action comedy movie Tropic Thunder in defending the visa program. Who wants to read this? Let me zoom
It's
in.
very tiny.
Yeah, we're going to zoom in here.
Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy,
Wait, one
who
sec.
have
Let me.
been...
Ooh, there we go. Start up here, yeah.
So there we go. The eternal rift inside the MAGA movement of the H-1B continues to play out on X, with Elon Musk attacking a critic of the program on Friday using a profane quote from Tom Cruise's character in the movie Tropic Thunder. Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, who continuously sounds like a dusted sandwich, who have been tapped by President-elect Trump to lead his Department of Government Efficiency, which just makes it apparently more efficient to bring a whole load of PGs over, argued earlier this week that American culture has not prioritized education enough. Well, that is actually true, which is why you need to bring in the fucking foreigners. And therefore, foreign workers are needed for tech companies like Musk, SpaceX, and Tesla.
Wait, you agree with him?
But America has not prioritized education enough? Yes, I agree with that. But
therefore you need to bring in foreign workers?
No, I agree that the education is not being prioritized, but that does not mean I agree with the solution of bringing in more fucking foreigners.
He was being facetious there.
Okay, because
yeah,
I'll tell you this:
retarded.
is that if you think that the
solution
university
to poorly
of, I don't
educated
know,
white people
what's
is
an
to bring in
Indian
Bombay.
Bombay.
That's Bombay, sorry.
Well, it's not called Bombay anymore. Now it's I don't know what's the biggest
Chester
university.
Street Central.
You should
No,
not
but
take seriously a country that has a province called Cumbum and doesn't think it's funny.
Yes, the University of Cumbum is going to produce
actually
people
what it's
with
called?
the same kind
Yes,
of
there's a place called
qualifications.
Cumbum in India.
There you go, perfect. That the University of
good
Cumbum is going to produce people with the same qualifications as people from the West. And I can tell you this from absolute 100% security, not only because you're going to, when you guys hopefully watch my new video, you're going to see a bunch of studies I had to translate from various Southeast Asian countries, and you can see like the English all over the place in them. But more specifically, those even Eastern European, universities have higher standards than Southeast Asian universities. Those are degree mills. They give people degrees for doing nothing. I'm not saying that America is much better, by the way, by that standard. They just make you pay a lot more. But these are degree mills where you learn nothing. And in fact, what you see every single one of these employers who hire these H-1B visa immigrants is that they all get hired at starting wages. They have 1 year of experience because they have to train them. The reason why they prefer the H-1Bs is because they have to pay them a fraction of the cost of what it would cost to retrain an American or European worker in the exact same job. Because an American with a degree, no matter from what university it is, in software engineering, you're going to have to pay them more because they have a reputable degree. Meanwhile, you can hire somebody from Mumbai and they have a degree in the same subject matter, despite probably not knowing anything about it.
Never setting foot in a fucking campus and just walking up, paying a bunch of money and just leaving with it.
Yes. And you can train them for a fraction of the cost to do the same job, allegedly. But then if also they do a bad job, I mean, funnily enough to these companies, but the part that they don't think about, because they don't think longitudinally, because it's all about instantaneous profit, is that person is not going to be able to actually produce effective work. Because they don't care. They're just there to get money. They're there to bring their families over, and they're there to get rich. They are not there to actually work a job and support a family in the country in which they were born. They're there to send that money back to their families or bring their families over. That's what they're there for. But and they don't get. Also, they hate you. By the way, I don't know if you've noticed that. I don't know if you've noticed that Indians hate Westerners a lot. like very deeply.
Okay, allow me to cut to the marrow of the matter. Here's my version of events. Indians are subhumans who cannot be taught.
Whoa.
And therefore shouldn't be bothered
You know what?
with.
I'm gonna allow it only because I heard
It's true.
Richard
Why ass, bitch?
Hanania. I heard Richard Hanania talk about West Virginians as subhumans today, so I'm a little bit fucking pissed off about that. And I will try my best.
Everyone is returning to the reality of racial disputes.
Well, no,
I am
that's not a
content with
racial
this
dispute.
development. Yes, it is.
But it's not
That
a
would
racial
imply that the
dispute.
Indians are a race as opposed to a blight.
I mean, like, I understand why Indians are angry. If you look at, like, for example, you look at, like, dating sites, right? I think Indians rank lower than black people.
The best looking
in terms of
Indian
desirability.
looks like a perfectly coiffed wig on a possum. They've got that weird rat teeth thing going on. They can have a perfectly coiffed Bollywood cut, and it does look like it's stapled to a fucking raccoon.
But I mean, like, if you look at these, like, dating websites, there's some evidence, and I don't believe a lot of this stuff about dick size. First of all, it's not the size of the ship; it's the motion of the ocean. But secondly, and I do mean that in that.
That's a bit of a moot point, considering that the majority of these fucking H1B cases are just a circus of rapists.
Yeah, very true. But I mean, like, there's that great.
Well,
there's
it's
that
not
great
a dating
video.
agency. No, what they mean is a way for Indians to track where you are.
There's that great video of that woman. She's got her measuring tape, right? And she pulls out 12 inches on it, and she's like, "This is not working." Which is that, yes, every woman knows. Every woman who's not a
Woman
completely,
talking
like,
about race without having a sideline into sex. There's a difficulty rank for you.
Because it gets brought up all the time.
Is this going to be
Woman
the
pulls out
standard
a
for
tape
the new
measure.
year? Like, at this level of base? Because
If
this
that's
is
the
like
case, I'm
high.
going back to drinking petrol.
Okay, so the woman brings out her tape measure. She's like, 12 inches, that's insane. Which is what you go on, like, TikTok or any woman's website, they'll be like, oh yeah, if he's not at least
Local
12
woman
inches,
who's
he's
trying
not
to
a real
plow a
man.
car into a wall gets told to
God.
maybe turn off and instead hits the accelerator harder.
But then, like, she's like taking over the course of the video, she takes the measuring tape down and goes like, 3 to 4 inches. Like,
She's really
this
not
is
just
good.
she like
You know what I mean?
once she locks
I'm
into a
trying to get my
conversation
point
topic.
across.
Maybe
Yes,
it should.
'cause otherwise you get talked over.
Maybe rather than trying to get the point across, you should have a cold shower and wait for it to calm down. It'll go down by itself after a couple of minutes.
So, but my point is that according to some spurious research, none of which I really believe, but allegedly, Indians have some of the smallest penises on Earth. Okay.
William Breeding will do that.
Um,
More importantly, I'd say is the fact they've got the grip strength of like a. I think the average grip strength amongst Indians is like lower than children.
Like
they are literally so physically weak.
Yes.
Like they have literally withered themselves in their pursuit of hackneyed fucking backwards dirt worship that they have corroded their genome so badly that they cannot fight. Hell, they're fighting the Chinese with tasers.
And the average
the Chinese
IQ
are using melee weapons.
And the average IQ in India is something like 78. Okay.
I think it's a highball. That's
But
78 of one of
then
those
they'll say,
tested.
well, that's including the untouchables class or whatever. I don't even think they allowed.
If your country has a caste system, that means that if someone's shadow touches yours, you're allowed to kill them in the street.
Yeah.
And you're guilty of all the worst excesses that white rogue states are accused
die on the
of.
stream from laughter.
Okay, let's take a country. Let's take all the memes about how bad South Africa or Rhodesia or fucking Liberia were, and let's make all those memes real. Then you have India, and a cesspool would be a understatement. In fact, it would be a disservice to cesspools everywhere. At least cesspools get cleaned occasionally.
Look, India is a shithole for a reason. And
Yeah, it's full of
Elon's
Indians.
whole idea here of let's just import 1 billion Indians. And let's be clear about what Elon was talking about when he first proposed this idea. Is I would like slaves, please. That's what it was. Is I would like slaves that I can try to train to do monkey tech jobs.
I
don't
want
actually
slaves, and I
want
can't trust the
talented-
Chinese not to spy on me.
Yes, I can't.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can't afford to pay people who actually know what they're doing, so I will pay for slaves. And let's be really clear about what the H-1B is. H-1Bs are run by companies that are essentially sponsoring a immigrant to come to the United States to work at their company. If the immigrant is not good enough and fails to live up to their standards, then they go back home. This means that the company employing them can kind of do whatever the fuck they want because the immigrant doesn't want to be sent back home, hence why they're here in the first place. So they can say things like Elon and his supporters have been saying, which is that Americans are so lazy. Why won't they work 80 hours a week? It's just American laziness.
Okay,
Now, I'd like to run you through the mathematics on what an 80-hour work week looks like. Can we do this real quick?
Well,
Because
you're
Elon
going to
has
anyway.
proposed this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many hours in a week? 24 hours a day times 7.
144.
168 hours. 168 hours a week.
She's on a tear. If we sneak off to Rumble, maybe she won't notice.
Come on.
I'll do that
So
next
if
week,
you
though.
subtract, okay, so you're left with 392 hours a week if you're working an 80-hour work week. Now, most people have to sleep. Adults have to sleep about 6 hours a day. That's at a minimum, right? So
Unless
do
you're
6
Trump.
times 7.
Which goes usually about
Minus
3 hours.
6 hours a day is still a losing fight against nature. You do need the 8. Or, like, without biohacking, yeah, you're going to look at least 8 hours to not have, like, health problems.
Yeah, agreed.
What it leaves you with, when I did these calculations before, is essentially you end up with 2 hours a day of free time when you adjust for sleeping, travel, to and from work, doing basic necessities like having to clean your house, prepare food, etc.
You don't live
You're left
life.
with about an hour to maybe 2 hours a day. That's not a really good life. That is essentially slave labor. And they're paying these people a fraction of what they would have to pay an American, because of course Americans won't accept that. Elon states that Americans not being able to accept working 80 hours a week for just above minimum wage is them being lazy. Sure.
This is someone who also vouches for a 120-hour work week for Tesla workers, whilst working a fairly cushy gig just networking.
That's the thing, Neon Suspenders. Slaves did get free time. And so did medieval serfs in the off seasons, right?
Well, feast days. There were an enormous number of feast days.
You had 3
Entire
months
winter.
off a year. The whole winter is off. I'm not saying that makes it better, but there's
Yeah,
no
yeah, you
winter
are.
off in your tech job.
Well, the bigger
right?
thing
It
is
is
when
better.
the Indians come over here and they work them to death. They can also casually make. Remember how I think in a lot of places where they're bringing these workers, it's opt-out organ doning.
Oh yeah,
So we'll just work them to death, and when they're dead, we'll scoop out their organs and sell
yeah.
them.
That's
Yep.
quite fucked up.
I mean, it's slavery. I'm tired of pretending it's not. It is. And it's not fair to these people who need to go fix their own bloody fucking country.
I've got.
And it's not fair to
okay.
Americans.
Elon, if you want to,
but she never made it to
If-
the border. Joel Villarreal is
Why
the
does he
mayor of
play?
Rio Grande
Where's
City,
this
Texas.
sound
What the
coming
fuck?
from?
Trust me now.
Oh, fuck you. Fucking goddamn.
what was that, an aneurysm?
Yeah, that
Okay,
was too.
I've got. Anyone got a lot of money spare? I've got a business venture. I'm going to open a cattle processing plant at the the font of the Ganges,
Yeah.
and we're just going to pump all the excesses out into the Ganges.
Shall we continue with this article so we can get through to some of the other stuff? I should
why
look
not?
at it instead of just discussing it. Many
Many tech companies have embraced H-1B visa programs, which allows U.S. companies to hire foreign workers in specialty occupations. But critics of
We'll
the
look at
program
what those
say...
specialties are, by the way. Continue.
No, sorry. Say H-1B are often chosen over U.S. citizens for jobs, yeah, because they're cheaper. One of the reasons for this is that foreign workers are tied to their respective employers via the H-1B visa, as a company is
Yes.
required to sponsor the visa, and therefore quitting the job could ultimately see foreign workers losing their visa and their ability to legally remain in the country. So that's basically...
In other words, they are slaves.
They got you by the
Yes.
balls.
Yeah.
If you want to stay
It's
in
the same shit the
country,
Qataris do, where
you
they
gotta
take
do
your passport.
whatever- Yes, you got to do whatever they tell you to do. You don't want to work 80, 90, 100 hours a week? Well,
And you're off
bye-bye.
to slavery land again. Yeah.
Yep.
On
And you're not
Friday-
getting paid any overtime, by the way.
No.
Ouch. On Friday, Musk doubled down on his defense of the program, blasting a user on X who used a video of Musk discussing SpaceX process to go after the
We were just
billionaire's
looking at,
stance on the visa program. The reason I'm in America, along with so many critical who built SpaceX, Tesla, and wrote of other companies that made America strong. It's made America strong or you rich?
Elon Musk is not an H-1B immigrant.
Yeah, that's not
It's
true.
I think, what is it? It's H0, I think?
What's
Or
zero?
something like
He-
that.
He
H0.
had
It's
Canadian
highly
citizenship
skilled.
before he got into America.
Yes. He already had Canadian citizenship,
Yeah.
and then it's this. There is another thing outside of H-1B, which is extreme. I think it's like, is it? I think it starts with an E actually, and it's for the most highly skilled and most highly valued immigrants.
Why,
That's
why
what he
should we
got in.
consider a consistency from a rootless savage?
O1, yes, thank you, Yankee Doodle. That was it. Sorry, I couldn't remember it.
Thanks for
He's
that,
on
Bill.
an O1 visa, which is not a H-1B.
You know where
So-
you came from. He doesn't.
That's so he is not on
We're
an
not all
H-1B.
rootless
It's
savages, by the
so
way.
indicative that he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. How does he not know that he's on an O1 visa, not a H-1B?
Because he's defending it,
In-
and he knows most people won't check at it. That's the reason why.
I guess so.
He went after the 2008 action comedy movie, which was a box office hit, take a big step back and fuck yourself in the face, Musk's railed. The line, although not verbatim, comes from the scene where the movie where Tom Cruise's character, Les Grossman, a balding, profane-laden, and ill-tempered studio executive, mostly describes me actually, roars down the phone at a group of kidnappers in a memorable scene. Grossman then goes on to threaten the kidnappers, saying that he will go scorched earth and massacre them. That's kind of base. The
He did
outburst.
say this also. He said he would go scorched earth or something to that said, like, I will fight you to the death over the H-1B thing.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. The outburst leaves the kidnappers and Matthew McConaughey, who plays Rick the Peck, stunned into silence. The movie also stars Ben Stiller, Robert Downey Jr., and
Oh, yeah,
Jack
who cares?
Black. And yeah, that's basically just a promotion for the fucking
Oh no,
movie.
no! I found Robert Downey Jr.'s part in this amazing. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah, but I don't care about other people involved in the film.
It's a
And,
chance to see Robert Downey Jr. in
This is
blackface.
it.
It's
Yeah,
a rare thing.
this is the line.
Yes, I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend. Yeah.
Now, this was his statement in late December.
Yeah.
We're going to see how this has changed in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. Also, the concept of meritocracy is complete crap. Yes, people-
But there's no meritocracy involved here, is there?
Yeah, but that's what they were going to say. That's how they used to sell it. We need the best people. It's like, no, the best people for the job is just the cheapest people.
They are neither the best nor even people.
Yes.
Well, they're certainly not the best people for the job. The whole thing is that you can train them for way cheaper.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The best person for the job is a very sketchy qualification because you're not signifying what the best is. Like when you say the
Yeah.
best, do you mean the best performing or do you mean the best for you? Because the best for you could also be the cheapest.
Yeah,
So that doesn't really
right.
mean much. It's too vague. Musk then went on
Yep.
to interact with other commentators on this topic, saying he agreed with one poster who wrote that the visa program needs reform and must protect meritocracy and the American dream for tech innovators at all costs. Yeah, I think the phrase "at all costs" is the main thing that you're focusing on
Yeah,
there, because
it's all about his bottom line.
meritocracy is a bunch of bullshit in
Yeah.
many ways, shapes, and forms. Elsewhere, Musk
Yes.
agreed to a separate post that stated that Google, Intel, and Tesla were all founded on built by immigrants, and that H-1B visa employees are effectively capped at 15% for big tech companies. The post
The
noted
whole
that a third.
thing here is that he's calling for uncapping it. He's calling for complete uncapping of this so that it can be 100%. That's what he was originally, arguing for. When this started, he said no cap on H-1Bs.
The post noted that
So-
a third of positions. Can I read the thing now, or are you just going to interrupt me like every other fucking paragraph?
Sorry.
There you go. The post noted that a third of the positions in the sector go unfulfilled each year and that foreign workers are needed in the short term to make up the shortfall. On Christmas Day, Musk wrote that he and his companies would prefer to hire Americans and that it is much easier than going through the incredibly painful and slow work visa process. And that's bollocks. However,
Yeah.
there is a dire shortage of extremely talented and motivated engineers at America. Bear in mind, America landed on the moon, allegedly, and no foreigners are required for that shit, so I don't know why the hell you need them now. This is not about handing out opportunities
Some
from...
Operation Paperclip stuff, maybe, but
Yeah.
Let's just say the Indian black market in drugs like fentanyl probably knocked off the few decent machinists you had access to.
yeah.
I mean, before you had the Nazis, and now you have these fucking people. Talk about a fucking decay in quality.
But it'd be so hard to teach people German.
Or how to behave like civilized human beings. I mean, this is the reason why you had colonization, because if you colonize people, you just say, this is how we're going to run things, and you don't have a say because you're shit.
And now Belgium gets to talk shit about other people about it. Meanwhile, in the Congo,
Yeah.
they on bongo, they're drinking.
No.
Europeans are supposed to rule the world, by the way. We are objectively better at that. Nation building and running things is what we're actually good at.
Now we're playing bottom line with a bunch of globalists. Let's face it, efficiency's a scourge tipped with fucking gold coins.
What did Chad Logic just say? Globalists, bankers, Jews. Anyway.
Oh,
So say
hang on, I got it. Where did I post this? I think I have it in my downloads folder.
We should make an actual soundboard for this chat. We really should.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I got it. Hang on. I'll put it in here. Whoops.
We're just going all out today, aren't we?
Sorry, Chud. I got Oh, it's really hard to hear, but
Make it louder.
I don't think I can't. I don't know how to make it any louder. I don't know how. I'll try my.
We'll keep it. We'll have it prepped for next week on a soundboard. How about
Maybe
that?
just hear
How
it
do you
though.
not normalize things?
I can't. I don't know what you want me to do. What do you want me to do?
Women.
To prep it for next week.
I literally can't. But this is what I got.
World Economic Forum, Comcast, Paramount Global, Honey. I tell you what, I'll save you some time. Jews.
He's not wrong though.
But when I say people time, I get yelled at.
Oh,
on stream.
sorry. I put it in the wrong thing. Maybe, will be louder over here? I'll play. Wait, that's not the right thing. Oh, I had to move the file. Right. Okay. Hang on. I'll play it one more time. Nope, not like that. You can see what I've titled the file
The
there,
Jews.
though. The Jews.
State Street, Vanguard, BlackRock, International Monetary Fund, World Economic Forum, Comcast, Paramount Global, Honey. I tell you what, I'll save you some time. Jews.
He's such a good clip though. Yes, I
I
agree.
can't make it
Normalize
any
does need to
louder.
be
I'd
a
have to go
dirty
in and
word.
edit video editing software.
You can't
and
say the
turn it
quiet
up.
part loud. It's just the way of things.
Well, no, I literally can't. I mean, like, I can't. I'd have to go into video editing software and edit the
Don't
fucking
lose
clip.
something.
So I can't.
Crank the DBs.
I can't.
Stop
Within
arguing about it and just get
Chrome.
on with the article.
So I'm so tired of fucking.
It's restarted
like,
the fucking video again.
Joel
Oh my
Villarreal
god,
is
it's
the
so
winner
in.
of the
Shut up! Oh my god. I'm in a really bad mood, by the way.
Really, I couldn't tell.
Really? Well, I'm a little bit annoyed by you being like, nothing's wrong with Brave. Meanwhile, millions of people.
Yes, because having
are
a chimp
saying that
out
there's
about
problems
technology
with
on stream
Brave.
doesn't make you look like an asshole.
Yeah, millions of people are reporting problems with Brave, which is
No
why I
one
now have
gives
to
a
use
fuck. Get on
Chrome.
with the news.
All right, go back into it. Read this.
Fuck me
Well-
dead.
Actually, I find this burging quite funny, personally.
Okay, go ahead and read it.
'Cause I don't have any problems.
It's so much fun in terms of like when you talk to somebody about like, hey, look, I have this problem with my computer.
how's everyone else
this
doing?
tech
I'm doing
problem,"
alright.
And
How about
somebody
you
goes,
guys?
and the
I'm a
person you're
bad
talking
guy,
to
to
is,
be
well, I've never experienced that problem. Yeah, thank you. That's very helpful for your toxic positive bullshit. Doesn't mean it's not fucking happening. You've got millions of people
No one
saying
gets the
they've got this
context, mate.
problem
The
with
videos will
Brave.
come out till tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. Anywho, continue to read the article before I get too pissed off.
Before?
Fucking A. Well, I'm.
You mean
I'm
you still have levels to go?
It could get worse.
Can it? Build a shiv alcohol near her?
No, I told you I'm not
Okay,
drinking
okay, that's
alcohol
good.
as much anymore. I'm really
That's,
trying to cut down
that's
hardcore.
probably why you are ill-tempered.
I still had to go out to buy more today, though.
Well, I haven't had any
I'm a
yet. Though.
glorified caddy in this household.
No, yeah, a little bit.
See, look at the chat spurg out more. See, it's funny.
One day I'm just going to seal off the top
Okay,
half of
read-
the house and lock it.
Then read the damn article.
Let's see. Take a big... no, you scroll down. We weren't past this.
Do we go past this?
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah,
oh,
because you
oh, I
scrolled up
lo-
to
oh,
music
right,
distributed
right.
video.
You lost his place.
Refreshed. Yeah.
Yes, Alfred Musk agreed to separate the post that said Kuga. No, we read that as well.
Where were we at?
It was after the image.
Plug.
Like, however, the
Okay.
mental differences... Yeah. No,
Oh, it's just
scroll
it.
up.
This is just it then. Oh, is
Yeah.
it?
Yes, the mental difference between humans are far bigger than the physical differences. Yes, and you can tell
Yeah.
the mental differences by looking at the fucking physical differences, Musk.
Look at the. Oh, how about look at the IQ of India?
I can look at the white man and go, you are objectively better than everybody else. This is true. Like, that's not
Yeah.
controversial. I can just look at civilization.
This part's insane. Read that one.
If it comes down to this, do you want America to win or do you want America to lose? What does that even mean?
If you get what you want from America, it will not
Yeah, that-
be
that-
America now, will
that-
it?
that-
It's
that
the
means
ship
nothing.
of Theseus argument.
Ship of feces, more like.
Definitely the ship of feces. We were talking about Indians here.
Yeah, if you force
So-
the world's talent to play for the other side, America will lose. Like, but what does that mean?
How's India doing, by the way? Not great's the answer.
No one
If
is supporting
India
those
is
freaking
full of
people and
geniuses,
winning.
as he proposes,
Israel is the
why
one
are
of the
they not-
closest aligned nations with India.
Yeah.
They bring in no one from India
Nope.
for labor. Not a single fucking soul.
If India is so jam-packed with geniuses,
Why
why
do they
is
look
it not a
shit?
utopia?
They're so physically weak, they're not even good for cannon fodder versus the Palestinians.
Good lord.
Here's how fucking useless you have to be not be useful as cannon fodder against Arabs.
Here is what this kind of mentality has produced. So the H-1B thing is identical to the woke for many purposes. I spent the last decade being boxed out of jobs and loans and other opportunities. Me and everyone who looks like me. I don't care if your name is Nancy Pelosi or Vivek Ramaswamy. That ends now. So here's the actual statistics on it. It's from Bloomberg. Corporate America pledged to hire more people of color. It actually did. So the thing is, it's just anti-white. Let's be honest about what this is. It is anti-white because white people demand
Quality.
how about fair pay in terms of what would allow them to live? And I also understand when they bring in these H-1B visas, they don't just, yes, they pay them minimum wage is what for whatever job they're doing. But moreover than that, because they are being paid so little, they qualify for every government program.
The majority
Pretty much.
of Indian-born truck drivers, like the industry standard now in trucking, especially in Canada, they were brought in right after the trucker demonstrations, and some of their yearly wage is like sub $5,000 Canadian dollars, because their truck is paid for by the government, all their fuel is paid for by the government, every single overhead and cost involved in running the company is paid for by the government. So they just get $5,000 out of it at the end of the year, working at a wage that like part-time students work for more than that.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
the whole
you're
point
right,
is to aggressively price out of the market anyone who might prove any kind of political pushback, like anyone who could possibly argue with you.
I mean, and Yankee Doodle, you are right. People talk about this problem on Twitter, or here we're doing it on YouTube. What are we going to do? I don't know, other than complain about it. I don't really
Rope is
know
cheap.
what to do. I don't know what to do. I am definitely not going to Fed post.
Changing
and
of
be
the
very wary of
regime.
people who do Fed post and tell you to go do something, because you're going to end up in a federal prison if you do that shit. So just understand that. So I don't know what the answer is to this, but this
I have a very
is
simple
look at this.
question I want to ask.
Yeah.
I probably will do a short video on this, and I will defy anyone to justify what I'm about to say.
Okay.
If someone came to you and said, "You must allow me access to your land, your people, and your goods and services, your capital, or I will label you X." First of all, in order for that pitch to work, for some bizarre reason, the person making that proposition to you needs everyone around you to believe what they believe, or else the value of the label doesn't stick. Why the hell would I then capitulate to this person who is demanding something of me that is so piss weak and useless that he is reduced into shaming me into getting access to my markets and people? What kind of a pathetic bitch would I be to not only capitulate to them and grant them everything, meanwhile I gain nothing from this interaction?
Yeah.
Problem is, people have forgotten what to give a fuck about.
According to Elon, you get way better tech workers. I don't know. Have any of you guys ever tried to call a tech support company? It's interesting that almost none of them have tech support anymore, if you've not noticed. But if you call them, it's just it reroutes you to some call center in Mumbai, and they don't have any idea what they're talking about. They have no idea what to do. And then, legitimately, I talked about this a couple months ago. I was offered a sponsorship from a company. And then it turned out that from a couple of different people all DM'd me around the same couple weeks promoting this sponsorship. And I said, yeah, sure, it looks like a decent company to work with. Turned out they were Indian people who did work at that company, but who were selling a scam to influencers where they were demanding like your password and stuff. And the second they do that, you just go, oh, fuck off, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, they would send you a file that was meant to be all the information, and it was one of the old screensaver files that gets into your
screensaver file. Yes.
That gets into your kernel level, like access to your computer.
Because for whatever reason, screensaver files are stored within System 32, and so they.
Oh hell no!
Yeah, it's malware. It's extreme malware, and they sent me this file that they wanted me to sign. And at first, I was like, "This is weird." And so I didn't open it, but I opened it in my browser. I was able to get it open in the browser without downloading it because my computer literally would not allow me to download it. I have too much antivirus software and stuff installed. It would not allow it to be downloaded. And I opened it in a browser.
Alien's machine is more loaded with antivirus software than a paranoid schizophrenic.
Well, yeah, a little bit. So it wouldn't. No, I use a Vast and what's the other one?
But you
AVG.
have more than one.
Yeah.
Why?
You realize that having two antiviral softwares going simultaneously fucks up your computer, right?
Not those two. I chose those two specifically because they don't interact negatively
This
with each other.
explains so much about why your
Have you done some
PC is
research
such a
into whether or
mental
not
head
Avast
case.
and AVG have negative interactions with each other? Oh no.
No,
Whoops.
woman.
I just got told specifically by one of my old friends who worked at States IT that having two antiviral softwares running simultaneously is a good way to brick your PC.
It is if they're not compatible with each other. Yes, but they do different. I've had them set up to do different things.
Why the hell are you, a woman, arguing with men over technology? Like, this is
Because
objectively
I have them
insane.
set up to do different things.
Oh my god, this is just turning into a fucking joke.
Anywho, so two people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about two pieces of software they don't know what they're talking about.
I'm sorry, whose
I can
computer
see
is
myself
currently...
out if you want.
Yeah, so
I'm
can
just
I.
getting a little irritated that everyone's being
Get on with
fucking
it.
gay about this. Okay, well why am I being picked on? I'm getting annoyed.
Because you're the one running two antivirus software, your PC is a mess, and mine is running fantastically.
Okay, that's very cute for you. Anywho, my
Don't you
computer's
sass
older
me, you
than yours.
bitch.
Very cute for you. I already told you I'm in a bad fucking mood. However, anywho, so I try to work with these people. I sent them back a signed document saying I'd work with them, which I shouldn't have done because it has my signature on it, but whatever. And then they said, no, ma'am, you must install this software to sign our document. And I was like, what the fuck is this? So I contacted
our
the
proof in The
company in
Simpsons.
question, and they were like, what the fuck? They were shocked. And they said thank you. I asked them if they wanted to work with me, and they said, "Oh, we'll get back to you." Okay. No, it's not Brave Works, just fun. Convol. Go check the internet, and you'll see that there's actually now thousands and thousands, and not millions of reports about this thing.
Brave's
Bill-
having a massive fight
Hold on a
with
sec.
YouTube because their
you.
inbuilt ad blocker. They can put a workaround to get around YouTube's new ad blocker, and they've
So
just been
a
arguing back
bunch
and
of
forth
companies
since.
are knocking them off their websites. That's what's happening. Anywho, oh my god. Yeah. So what was I talking about? I've lost my train of thought. I'm such a bad mood. I hate this shit. Anyway, most Indians, what they end up doing is even if they get a job with a proper tech company, such as the one I was trying to work with there, they just end up fucking scamming. They scam.
Yeah, it's just for them. It's an opportunity and a platform by which to just run more of this bullshit.
Yeah, they then have some access to behind the scenes access to stuff from that company, and then go, oh, I can now use this to peddle it to sell scams. They do it every single fucking time. Because Indians, it's because of the, being a colony or whatever, they hate the British and they hate white people, so they think it's like, and you can hear it. Go watch some Kit Boga videos where he actually starts to talk to the Indian scammers, and they're like, well, the white people, they oppress us for so many years. It's just right that we oppress them back. Fuck you, fucking mother chode. That's what they think. This is their mindset.
If these black plague riddled fucking retards could just do everyone else a favor and just build a brick wall around their country so that we could fill it with cow's blood and finish the problem for good, that'd be great. That require India to build anything that holds up for more than 5 minutes. I don't fucking
Yeah, they
count
can't
on
do
it.
that. It's the same thing that I got the same thing. Sorry. So here's the wages that they're working for. Now, it might seem kind of high for some people, but let's look at it. So graphic designer, this one not so much. Graphic designer, $41,600 a year. That's in the U.S. I think. In Florida, that's got to be minimum wage. Around that, right? What is that? Let's do the calculation on that real quick. Well, what's the minimum wage in Florida is probably $13 an hour times, let's give them 60 hours a week, and times
It's $14 an hour hourly rate.
$14 an hour. How many weeks in the year not counting holidays? That's basically minimum wage. I can just do about that math in my head. And this was Patrick Bet David also here said he was also saying you need to work 80 hours a week. Our founding fathers were in favor of 80 hours a week. They worked more than that.
They
Yeah, that's
also
why we
get slaves.
established. Yeah, that's why we established. That's why we established a 40-hour work week. Maths is hard, Barbie. Yeah, only basic maths. Then we can do statistics, and it's a little easier. So again, graphic designer. Why do you need to import someone from India? This says it's $10 an hour. Why do you need to import someone from India to do graphic design work? There is a whole bunch of people who have graphic design degrees in the United States who would work for this or at least for this, I suppose, because, I mean, they're graphic designers. But still, you have to import someone, which the cost to the system of importing that person and supporting them and their family is way more than $41,000 a year. And they're not working 80-hour work weeks, most likely. Maybe they are at some companies.
One thing we should have learned from history is that if something seems cheap, it's because it's going to cost you later.
Yep.
Slavery must have seemed quite cheap to the people indulging in it, and here we are paying the price later.
Yep. And this is what Elon was in favor of. And fuck Patrick Bet-David, too, for saying, he's like, Americans are lazy for not working 80-hour work weeks. As I went through earlier, it leaves you with about 1 to 2 hours of free time between traveling, making food, eating food,
The people advocating for longer
sleeping.
work weeks are always the people with fake jobs.
Isn't it
People,
interesting?
let's face it, is there anything that Elon's really getting up to in an average work week that is more difficult than what the usual administrative worker with a female administrative worker is doing, I should say? It's just made up fucking gigs.
Yep.
He's perpetuated by his own dosh from his old days when he used to work actual
Well, yes,
proper
this is
hours.
all short-term thinking. Oh, yeah, we just import 1 billion of them. They'll work for pennies, but they're going to bring over all of their families, and they won't. Their children won't. I mean, and then the demography is permanently changed, and America is not America anymore. Just as England is no longer England. You know,
If what's best for your bottom line is going to destroy the nation, then maybe you shouldn't even be allowed to be in it.
Yes, that's what we have to think about. I don't actually. Maybe that's just where Elon's at with this, is that he's thinking, well, it's just cheaper technically. Yeah, in the short term. It's not cheaper in the long term. It's way more expensive in the long term. Because again, you're not just going to pay for these people's wages. The government is going to have to pick up the slack on paying for their housing. They're going to have to pay for welfare because they're not making minimum wage. So then they're going to be on benefits.
This is what happened when you're nothing more than an economic zone. And America, your country really is nothing more than an economic zone. You can screech about, but no freedom. No, that's all a bunch of crap. It's contract theory.
Yes.
Because the people
Your
you put in
nation-
charge don't believe in nationhood anymore. They don't
Yes,
believe in
exactly.
sovereignty or anything.
Yeah, so until you get a new class of, well, frankly, human beings as your leadership, your conception of what America is bullshit. I hate to break it to you, but yeah. You were always going to end up this way.
If you believe in America, stop voting for people who don't.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nice sentence, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, well said, Bill. So here is a receipt. So this is the H-1B salary database. People have been going through these at different places in the country, and you can see tons and tons of posts of these on Twitter. So I'm going to go through some of them just for example. Here you have store managers all throughout Kansas and Missouri for H-1Bs. Why do you need to import an Indian to be a store manager at a Fast and Friendly? Now remember, Elon is saying that these are people who are highly skilled. Does this sound like is this a highly skilled job? A store manager?
And here's the thing.
I don't think so.
Most of these stores are an enormous quantity. If I remember correctly, Fast and Friendly LLC runs almost all the 7-Elevens in that neck of the woods, and it's all owned by Indians who hire nothing but Indians and
That's the
school
other thing to pay
leavers
attention to.
who they pay slave wages to. And almost all of them are fronts for criminal organizations.
Yep.
What Bill brought up is also a very good point, is that, and a bunch of people have noticed this, is that once you get a bunch of Indians into a company, what do? They hire more Indians because they have in-group homophily.
Look at England. All the American sweets stores and shit like that, and places that sell fucking, I don't know,
Vapes.
vape stores especially. All the ones that rely on importation. They're all run by Indians. In the area around them, there is a massive influx of gang violence and drugs, because these companies are just shell companies so they can sell drugs. The fentanyl crisis was primarily fucking started up by the Indians. They're the ones hawking this shit. That's why you don't have skilled labor anymore, because the Indians brought in drugs that killed everyone who would have been that skilled labor.
Well, it's astonishing that why are we prioritizing? And the whole thing that Elon was sort of profligating here is that Americans are too stupid and lazy to work as, what, store managers? A job that requires no skill nor any
Hey, Aiden, which group
kind of
openly
background.
despises Europeans?
Everyone,
It's a
but
lot.
everyone
but Europeans. And many Europeans themselves are self-hating.
No, which one's primarily responsible for pushing this?
I can't say that.
Bring
Yeah,
out the logic perks again.
I
There you
can't bring
go.
up the children.
It's the Jews. It's the Jews. I'm just going to say it's the Jews.
Okay, well, I'm not
And
saying
India
that.
and Israel are besties, even though Indians aren't allowed in Israel, as far as I'm aware.
You have
Maybe
to
if they get
understand,
on-
you have to
I'm not
exert
engaging
power.
with this.
No, I know you won't, but the reality is somebody
No
has
way.
to.
All right, you can do that. I'm not engaging.
People
with
that come here for us to gold brick.
So here are some other jobs on the H-1B database. Valuetainment, commerce, graphic designer. Again, that's 41,000. We saw that one. Youth pastor, up to $72,000 a year in New Jersey.
Baptist, evangelical.
Why?
Sparta.
Why do you need Indians to come over and be youth pastors at evangelical churches? What the fuck?
If you're in New Jersey and you notice an influx in cases of missing children, I would look very closely at these churches.
I mean,
And evangelical and Baptist churches are notorious for their fucking Israeli worship.
yeah, this is creepy.
This is the same shit. This is like when they looked up the fucking Christchurch mosque, and like 5 years previous, it had been caught shipping people to Yemen to fight.
And it is weird when we align with Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders is on the same side, saying like, whoa, wait a minute, guys, like we can't just bring in like a billion Indians. We gotta prioritize Americans.
You kind of went a little bit
Can't really
Saturday
do
Night
a
Fever there.
Bernie Sanders, but you know what I mean. Millions of billions or whatever. The millions
Also,
Sound
see,
more like
a base salary of 71 grand for a youth pastor. I remember
Yeah,
this
what?
is why the Hussites fucking burned down most of Europe.
Yeah, crazy, dude. So that's youth pastors in New Jersey. These 550. I think these are like hourly. I don't know what these are about, but because these obviously aren't.
Remember what I
yearly
mentioned
wages.
earlier? It still says salary.
Yeah, so something weird's going on with these.
So
but other than
those
we're
are people
seeing
who are probably
30
paid
to
commission.
43,000. Yeah, 30 to 46.
Those are the people who get their trucks paid for by the government. Those are the Indian lot.
Yeah, truck drivers. We definitely need truck drivers imported.
With
because
sub
Americans can't do that.
$1,000 salaries.
Yes, we definitely need immigrants to do truck driving work.
Yeah, it works so well for Germany.
I mean, these are. Remember, Elon says these are the top.
Get an
1%.
Uber Eats, it'll deliver right to the Christmas market.
Top 1% we're importing to do truck driving and be youth pastors and store managers and graphic designers, right? Like these are the top 1%. Plumber, $26,000 a year.
Why don't you just
That
go
is
and conquer
sad.
India?
Abysmally low for a
In
plumber.
California, you'll starve. Like,
Also, what the fuck's the Shining Plumbing Knights Inc? What the fuck is this English goddamn word salad?
I don't know, but these are the jobs that's people. There's more of them here. We'll find some more. There's tons of this though, because you can go on. I couldn't because my computer's being weird, but the H1B website's got a ton of these. So This is an interesting kind of thread. So, Cognizant discriminated against non-Indian workers, U.S. jury says. IT services firm loses Los Angeles federal civil rights trial. New Jersey company for years had highest number of H-1B visas. So, they were hiring people who were probably not qualified just because they were cheaper. They were slave labor. Apple pays $25 million to settle suit over favoring foreign hires and making it so hard for U.S. workers to apply that few or none did for certain jobs. And that's been the case for years.
That was a year ago.
Americans won't even apply for certain jobs because they go, why not? Why should I? Why should I apply?
Hey, you're just giving it the phone.
I'm not going to be hired because I'm a white man.
It's been going on for like 10, 20 years now. When I left school, I got told, I applied for a local gig working in admin in a fucking, just in this local surgery. Just a simple, like, paper pusher job. And I got told to my face that I would not get the gig because I was a man.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Like,
Now, this is particularly interesting. Here you can see Twitter hirings in late 2024, so well after Elon acquired the company. Software engineer, 0 experience, $200,000 a year salary for H-1Bs. 0 experience. From
On the job training, and you get almost $250,000.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yep. You're being trained to do the job. You are not required to have any experience.
Why can't you
what's
get
the employee retention on those as well?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they leave immediately. As soon
Why-
as they can
why-
secure a better job.
Why can't you get an American to do that? I guarantee an American, if you said to an American, would you like to work a tech job, you don't need any experience, you get $200,000, they would fucking
Yep.
jump at that.
Yep.
Also, a software engineer with no experience.
Yeah, what
That's
does that
that's
mean?
shady as shit.
Yep.
These
All
are
these
pe-
1
so
to
that
0
again,
years.
another running theme. If an Indian gets a position of power, he will import all of his friends and pay them ridiculous money at the business expense.
Yep.
Yep.
There you go. Here it is between 130, well, it starts at, I guess, 104,000 at Twitter, but up to $300,000 a year for 0 years experience.
That
Just 'cause you have a
screams like
degree.
some shady shit.
$309,000 a year, including training. 0 years
And it just
experience.
says L3, distribution systems backend.
Oh, these are like levels, so I guess it depends on like.
So a level 3 placement in distributed systems with no
experience.
with no experience required, but it's
Yep.
still a level 3.
Yep. No experience. $300,000 a year.
These are just like,
This is insane.
or it's just a money laundering operation.
Here's
These
some
people
stuff
probably
at
don't even
Tesla.
exist.
From 2023 to 2024, U.S. workers considered 0%. 0% U.S. workers were considered for jobs at Tesla between 2023 and 2024.
So
Not a
it's
single
not even
fucking
considered. Not that they
one.
didn't apply. They applied, but they were not
They weren't
even
considered.
considered.
Total jobs advertised on Tesla's career page, 0.6%.
So
So
what-
they're just what's happening there?
So all Elon's managed to do is show his ass that he is literally just all of his companies are subsisting on slave labor.
Yep. Pretty much. So people, of course, investigated this because this is him being like, him going crazy about it and saying he's going to fight everybody who doesn't agree with him. Obviously looked into the stuff that Tesla does and that Twitter does.
Oh,
And finds things like
Dean's
this.
Australian $5. Cognizant is an Indian contracting company and
Who
has
is it?
nearly twice the amount of granted H-1B visa applications compared to Google.
Damn.
Cognizant, I was just thinking about being cogent, or
None
aware.
of us are any of those
is the
things.
word, yeah. Thank you, Dean. So let me read the other super chats before we move on further into this. Vinny the D for 5 says, "Hey Spoon, I'm talking to a Bormiesi, and she'll be visiting America in a few months. Why we started talking?
I need to teach you how to say that word.
I can't say bur even right, even after all this
Yeah,
time.
it's boor.
Bur. I always after
There
you
you
say it, I
go.
can get closer, but I can't. I don't know why I can't do it. Aramaic Discourse for 10
say
says,
boo,
always
boo,
remember,
buns."
folks. Always remember, folks, the elite human capital that Silicon Valley tech bros wants believes that toilets are dark sorcery invented by witches to curse you. Yes, that is true. or at least in some parts of India, that is true. They built public toilets in parts of India, like very rural parts of India, and they started worshiping the toilets or thinking that witches lived in them. Yeah.
Someone was paying people to use the toilets rather than the street, and
Yes.
they beat him to death in the street.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a legitimate story. I thought that was fake,
Uh-huh.
and then I saw the clip like, oh shit, that's an actual story.
Yep.
I don't
Yankee
think
Doodle for
people in the
5.
West really understand just how uncivilized non-Westerners are.
If you look
You
it
have
up, there is
no idea.
an image I remember vividly. It was like a 9-bedroom mansion in India with 0 bathrooms.
Well, of course.
Insane.
Where was I? Yankee Doodle for 5 says, as an American who wants to get into a tech job, this shit with Elon has me pretty black-pilled of late. I would say that I think the good side of it is that it appears Elon is, by the way, he's not going to roll back from this. He's at least going to publicly roll back from this. But he's going to keep doing it because he wants his slaves. I mean, I've had people criticize me and say, you sound like a leftist. And it's like, no, excuse me. If I sound like a leftist because I think slave labor is fucked up, then I'll proudly sound like a leftist. I don't really give a fuck. I don't want Americans to be slaves. I don't care what color their skin is. I don't want Americans to be slaves.
Or to be replaced by them.
Yeah, that's my fucking point. So I don't care if I sound like a leftist by saying that. I think that's a very... The fact that there's quote-unquote right-wingers, Ian Miles Chong, who can't get his tongue out of Elon's butt.
Seems to be a lot of that around.
Sure is.
In fairness, I would prefer
I'll
he
tell you
keep
why.
it there, but that means I don't have to look at his face.
Well, I'll tell you why, and we're going to look at it later. It's because it appears that if you want to get paid money to post on Twitter, you better be tonguing that butthole, because otherwise he's not going to pay you. Don't call me Becky. You can call me Becca. I like that one better. I really hate Becky. I know you should never tell me what you don't like on the internet, but I don't like Becca. Or Becky. I like Becca. Because I remember, like, when you was a teenager, it's like, oh, figure out what your nickname's supposed... Like, how would you want people to call you?
I don't like to be called a conceited asshole.
Well, you are.
You fall on the first hurdle, my friend.
You fall on this first hurdle.
Maybe I do, and that's just what I want people to call me.
See,
I'm just going to keep going with Spoon, because I'll keep making the Demi Lovato joke until you get it.
he'll never get it. He'll never get the Demi Lovato spoon joke.
I wouldn't just because
don't-
it's
Don't
like
get too
the other...
black-pilled, though.
It's the other word that Aiden wants me to say, and everyone else for like the last 2 years. I'm like, no, I'm not going to say
Oh,
it.
wait. Let me pull it up.
No,
Hang on.
no,
hang on.
I will never say it.
Oh, what is it called? It's my soundboard. Oh, but I have it over here.
Don't you just love when we derail the conversation so we
Oh,
can
I
I don't think I have
indulge
it
in
now
inane
because
bullshit?
I can't
Yep.
use fucking...
Yeah,
Oh,
to
man.
cut a
I'll
long
have it,
story
oh well.
short, there's a lot of lick spittles on Twitter these days. Maybe
Ooh.
people should get their shit togetger.
There it is.
Looking at you, Sargoy.
Rebby?
Stop tonguing the ring. You ain't wearing jewelry.
I don't know about Rebby. I'm kind of stuck. It's just Becky just has like a weird connotation.
Everyone in my
to
family
it.
just calls her Bex.
Yeah. I wish I don't mind either. That one's
Because
cool.
there's already a Becca. That's the woman who does the like dog grooming.
Yeah, Bex is fine. I don't mind that. I just don't like Becky. I mean, I don't like it. Personally. So there you go. That's how you get under my skin. It doesn't really get under my skin. It's just like, I'd prefer if you didn't. Hasselhoff for 5 says, the Athenians replaced Theseus' ship with the same parts. They didn't turn it into a latrine. Based Hasso.
Any white nation with their salt shouldn't be dealing with Theseus' ship. They should be dealing with the fucking Pequod.
Yeah.
Like the only outside influence should be like trophies of carcasses.
Yeah. Deans for 10 says, I remember an article a couple years ago that Amazon was using a heat map to see which stores were at risk of unionizing. One of Amazon's listed risk factors for unionization was a low diversity score. Oh, I wonder why. It's almost like white people in their own native country want to be paid a fair wage.
So, and it's almost
Or
like making sure that
decent hours,
there's a heterogeneous, like people, there's a large heterogeneous workforce means that there's lower risk of unionization because people from different races don't actually get along, despite what people might say.
Yeah, not at all. They all hate each other. Lucy Lemonbug gave 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much, Lucy.
Yeah,
Lamented
Lucy's good
Guide
people.
for 10 just sent a emoji of a laughing Shiba Inu. on the ground laughing. Deans for 5 says, reminder that Hindus lobbied Gavin Newsom to veto a bill that would ban the caste-based hiring thing. Yeah, and of course, they're going to follow along because they love their slave labor. Maya Chavez, PhD, became a member. Thank you so much, Maya. Awesome. And then Dean said, yeah, Dean, you said the thing about the Cognizant being an Indian contracting company. And
Let's see whiskey biltong. Do we have whiskey and biltong?
Well, you don't have whiskey because it hasn't been sent to you yet, but you should get some biltong. Someone Lich for 50 ERS says, Vivek and Elon dropping the mask. What a nice start for 2025. Scat Francisco won't be alone in the street poop map anymore. Well, if they get there, Ray, it won't.
I propose a toast to the Nevada Bay area.
We knew you well.
I mean, it'll just fill with shit and then overflow.
Like I said, the Nevada Bay area.
Right, just turn the whole thing
just
into
sink California into the ocean.
Shit. However, where it gets infuriating is that Trump appears to be going along with it. And I don't know if it's because Trump is owned by Elon or what, but it's very weird. And yeah, he appears to be on board.
President-elect Trump supporting Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy after the two backed H-1B visas for foreign workers, telling the New York Post, quote, I've always liked the visas. I've always been in favor of the visas. That's why we have them. I have many H-1B visas.
Yeah, like this is just Trump being Trump. However, I read some more. I don't know if they talk about it in this particular clip, but Trump talks about how he oh yeah, I use H-1Bs for my gardeners. Which is directly contradictory to what Elon is saying, which is that it's for the top 1%, the most brilliant people in their nations, to bring them out of poverty because they're so genius.
Good rule of thumb. Trump doesn't tend to have gaffes. He tends to have slight jabs at people he keeps around.
Maybe. Because the way that Trump responded to this, I don't know if it's in this clip, or in this bit, but he said, many of my gardeners are H-1Bs. They're the best gardeners. They're great. They clean my lawn. They clean my house. They're great. And it's and then he's saying that shit to supposedly support Vivek and Elon, which is directly contradictory to what they're saying, which is that we're bringing in the geniuses. And he's like, yeah, it's a bunch of gardeners and maids, which is
those are the geniuses of India.
On my properties, I've been a believer in H-1B. I've used it many times. It's a great program. Our next guest, though, is not sold on Trump's claims. Joining us now is American Majority founder and CEO Ned Ryan. Wow, a lot of confusion around this because, as you know, Ned, first of all, welcome and Happy New Year. As you know, Donald Trump had a lot of criticisms for this program and said there were a lot of abuses of it. Elon Musk has now come out, Vivek Ramaswamy, and now Donald Trump told the New York Post this. So what is your take?
That woman has smoked a lot of cigarettes.
Well, my take is the entire conversation started around increasing the number of H-1B visas, which was precisely the wrong place to start a conversation in expanding what is a broken and abused system. And I think a lot of people can acknowledge the H-1B visa system is broken. It's been abused. Elon posted some things last night that I think would be a nice starting point, that you have to significantly raise the minimum salary and then add an annual cost to these H-1B visas to maintain them. I think we have to get to the point, Rachel, where we make it prohibitively expensive to have an H-1B visa to really focus on having those truly exceptional people come in and use them. But Rachel, I think the thing has to be the thing that has to be discussed is the fundamental issues around this whole entire debate. Is that America fundamentally is not an economic zone. We're not some global storefront. America
not what I was expecting from that nose. Holy shit.
Whoa, Spoon. America is an economic zone?
Yes, it is.
I was spooling up to give this man shit for his tessellated fucking outfit. But
are you serious? America's not a country. Okay, so America is not a country. It's an economic zone.
It could be again, but you're gonna have to
you have no bloodline ties. You don't defend your race. At least my kin actually has its own identity. Yours does not. Anyone can be an American. No one can be an Afrikaner except the Dutch.
Okay. Oh,
I will stand by that.
No, you notice how he glossed over the fucking language, though.
Yeah, he didn't say anything about that. Dude, fuck you. Oh my god. I actually
agree with Spoon this. Unless America gets their shit together, you will lose your cultural identity completely.
Well, I agree.
Yep.
But
it's a warning. It's not an accusation.
No, but Spoon, you have said outright that there is no America, and therefore there can be no America. Now, but
Okay, so how are you surprised by my take now?
Therefore, what are we supposed to do?
I agree with this bloke with his tessellated suit. Quite rightly, there should be a prohibitive cost involved with bringing in visa employees. However, I have an additional addendum. I think in order for your country to be eligible to bring in staff into America, America gets dropped 2 nukes on you.
Also,
anywhere on the country,
if America is an
straight.
economic zone, the EU is an economic zone, which means Ireland is an economic zone. Enjoy your economic zone. Enjoy your economic zone in South Africa as well.
You say this like I care about Ireland.
Enjoy your economic zone.
Also,
in South Africa.
South Africa is literally an economic zone. It's a corporate enclave. It's the only fucking anything approaching civilized areas of the place now.
Yeah, but we have a rugby team and we've won 4 World Cups, so yay.
Oh, okay. Sport ball matters. When we're talking about
you can't claim
issues.
rugby matters, otherwise New Zealand would be a proper country, and that's just not the case.
Like,
New Zealand is a proper country, just better.
Holy shit!
No,
what
it's
a
not.
fucking deflection! Unbelievable.
As someone who's related to a member of like the national team, no, it's not a real country. It's a fucking hemorrhoid hanging off the ass of Oceania.
Unbelievable. Yeah, America is nothing but an economic zone.
Oh
okay,
dear, did
America,
I
get your shit
you?
together,
I'm
or you.
terribly sorry.
If you watch,
No, I'm sorry. No, you sound like a fucking leftoid.
I sound like a leftoid for saying
America
that we
need
prioritize
enough of like bickering.
materialism.
That America
needs to get its shit together and
zone.
reignite the flame of its fucking cultural heritage. Otherwise, it will die. Same as every other Western nation that is on the process of slitting its own throat.
Right. So what you're arguing is that there is nothing about, and look, and you know I would usually agree with you on this stuff, but there is nothing about America.
Mommy and
It has
Daddy are
no
fighting.
culture whatsoever at all. So it has
Currently, no. What
Then you
are
know
your
nothing about
elites
America.
preserving?
I'm not talking about the elites. Oh, we're going to elite theory. Our elites are
Bought and paid
repugnant,
for
but so are the
rodents
elites
wearing
for-
small
But
hats.
so are the elites in every. Point to me a country where the elites are not disgusting.
Israel.
They're still up for
Well,
their own.
you
even
grade
though-
on a curve, so he's technically correct.
I mean, it's not a good curve to grade on. But
I
just
know,
Let's not
but
talk
also
about the finer
because
point in
all of
numbers
the
with
world
Israel. They get
elites-
cagey about it.
So because all of the world elites are antithetical to the idea of nationhood, therefore then we're all just transitory. We're just people who live places.
Yeah, I know. I don't like that. Why do you think the
We should go out
conversation's
into
Well,
the
no,
world
you
and
just
make them
said that
other
about
people not
America.
do
That is so we're just people who live in a place. There is nothing about America that makes it different.
No,
Well, that's what you're arguing.
I know. I stand by my statement.
Well, I'm going to get into it later when I get into my West Virginian stuff, and you're not going to like that because I know way too much
I
about
don't
that area.
particularly care for your current attitude,
Yeah,
my young lady.
well, what you're saying there is you're preempting it by saying I don't actually care about the history.
No, I care about
or
I
the
care about your
culture
history.
of
I
these
just don't
people who
think
exist
it's
there and
not
why
being
they have the
preserved.
history and the culture of the people who live there. But excuse me.
None of your people value any of this shit.
Yes, we
You
do.
are raw materialists. You are
You are
fat,
out
lazy
of-
bastards.
You are out of your fucking mind. Don't.
I wonder if Geeks and Gamers have got a spot through.
How? You know what?
Hi, Bill.
Well, all of your people are lazy and fat. Then how about that?
Yeah, but that's not objectively
Why
true.
don't
so
they?
not-
Why
not
don't they get
bothered.
rid of all those black people in their country? Huh?
Oh, because they're outnumbered 1 to 8.
Oh, that sounds like their problem. So what
I
if
know-
they did?
I-
Well, they
I
should
know
just
it
do
is their
something about-
problem.
Oh, what if they weren't so
If anyone
fat
else-
and lazy? Maybe they'd do something about it, wouldn't
If
they?
anyone at home has a voice acting gig or a podcast I can be on rather than this shit show, yeah, feel free to DM me.
Hey, DM
I'm
me after
asking
the
a
show,
question.
Bill.
Well, Spoon, is it just because South Africans are fat and lazy, and that's why they can't get rid of all of the black people in their country who are siphoning off the system and destroying their country? Sounds like
Okay,
they're fat and
Aiden-
lazy to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a duty to the chat to not be a bunch of spastics. Can we get on with things, please?
Half the chat
For the
thinks
love
this
of
is
fuck.
If you're
funny.
gonna talk shit about my people, I'm gonna talk shit about yours. If you're
You-
gonna
you
throw
could-
out haymakers like
here's the
that, I can
thing.
throw them back.
Neither of you are white. Get on with the news.
Okay, now we
Yeah,
have to
so
unite against
edgy
Bill.
on
Like,
Americans,
no,
I know.
no, no, no.
Very edgy from them. Yeah, it's so controversial to hate
If
on
you can't
Americans.
breathe
Wow.
underwater, you're not white. Put that on a t-shirt and on my tombstone. All I'm seeing is a bunch of bitches who rely on the mammalian dive reflex to not drown. You're basically a bunch of blacks.
That's not true. They can't
Okay,
swim.
okay, guys, we're doing this in love and hate. Just kidding.
I don't mind if
I don't know.
somebody
I've chose
hates...
violence today. I'm drinking cider and iron brew mixed together.
The thing of it is, I'm not exactly that bothered
I
about
got a bottle of cider
Americans.
from the shop because I knew I need it.
Here's the thing, I
by the way,
don't mind
and
if you guys have a go at my country, because you know nothing about it, so like your word doesn't matter.
And you know nothing about America.
I know enough to piss you off.
No, you know not
Just do what I do.
to be completely wrong.
Everyone can tell I
You
found
know,
out
like,
Guernsey
doing
had.
like a Joker laugh doesn't make it you sound any more
Yeah, it was
authoritative
actually
on that.
about last month I discovered that Albany has a unironic cult of the Zoroastrian god Mithras that was going up to like 1995. That was a terrifying thing to find out at work when I should have been working. Such is life.
You guys are good people, but I'm going to give you shit because it's funny.
One day I'm
Well,
going
you're
to do
going
a
to get as much as you take then, homie.
One day I'm going to do a stream where it's just me
I'm gonna
reading
'cause you're
the
being
Book of
rude,
Guernsey
I'm going to
folklore.
be rude.
It's terrifying.
Oh, Bill, you should, because Bill's been telling me things
The,
from this book
amount
for,
of
last
like when I
month.
mentioned it to my mum, she says, "Oh yeah, I knew about the cult." I was like, "What do you mean you knew about the
I
cult?"
know, but the...
They didn't work like it's like yeah, they didn't actually celebrate Christmas up to like 2000. Like what the fuck is this? Glossing over the fact that one of the neighboring nations is legitimately a fucking cult.
Yeah.
Not just like a
the
regular
island
one, like
next to Australia with a big
Zoroastrianism
cult
for
on
some
it.
gay reason.
Yeah.
By the way, you guys have to understand, I like to say shit to get a rise out of you people, and Aiden is not in a particularly good mood, which makes her ripe for a funny...
South Africans are notoriously gadflies, and the Irish doubly so.
That's your defense, and I know because I've known you for long enough that when you piss off enough people, you just say, "I'm trolling."
Everyone at
It
home
doesn't
know that
work.
I'm the only
What
one with
else?
your best interests at heart. Give me money.
All right, yeah.
But
Give us-
also,
Send it to me. I'll make sure.
how is that not 90% of what I do anyway?
True. Oh, I wanted to say this for later. Why did I put
Thank
this
you.
here? That was the wrong. that
How
is the
about we
wrong
all unite against
thing.
someone that isn't white, who says retarded shit?
We'll do that in a moment.
We're not allowed to talk about Dev anymore. I
Hang on,
wasn't allowed to
because-
talk about that railway building prick.
Hang on, that's not what I wanted to. I clipped the wrong thing there. We'll get to that later. Trump has said that he's going to back down. Though he's supporting Elon Musk on his stuff. He's also now said he's not going to deport Dreamers, which is one of the things he ran on. Of course, is deporting the Dreamers, deporting everybody. And Trump's now saying he's not going to do that. So is this another argument about the Elon? I must have messed up. I told you I was having problems with my computer. I feel like that's why. Anywho, Trump is agreeing with it. Let me go find this real quick, though, because I do want to play it. Him saying he's not going to deport the Dreamers. Ooh, this will make me pay for it.
That's one of those comments where like it's either like the happy Wojak or it's the Wojak with too many teeth. Like we're not going to deport the Dreamers, or we're not going to deport the Dreamers.
And
It's all about how you say it. If I say we're not going to deport the Dreamers, it's
open to
frightening.
potentially getting a deal for Dreamers, those who were brought to the country illegally as children, to be able to stay here permanently.
This woman has
Do
freaking
you
fallout
think
eyes.
that that is feasible? You heard Leader Thune say yes, he thinks there are some areas of bipartisanship there.
Schumer,
Do you think a deal on
fucking piece
Dreamers
of
is
shit.
Bitch,
possible?
blink, you crazy eyes.
Well, we'd love to do that. Our party has been strongly fighting for the Dreamers
and Half-Life,
for a
yeah.
decade. We've been blocked by our colleagues on the other side of the aisle. If there's going to be a change and we can get some help, look, these are people, they were little tiny children when they were brought over the border.
Illegally. Many of them were sex trafficked, Chuck. I'm sure you're in favor of that one. Is that why you're so in favor of this? Oh, wow. What a shock. All these children were sex trafficked. Dickhead.
Many of them have been here for decades. Some have served in the armed forces. Many of them are
Which
working
they shouldn't have been able to do. Because they're not Americans.
very productively and have families. And yes, if we can find a solution.
Oh, and they may taken a lot of U.S. government subsidies in doing so. But yes, Trump has walked this back and says he wants to support the Dreamers, etc. It's the same disgusting fucking shit. And people are saying that essentially, that Elon Musk has brought Trump to heel, in that he's gone. This is what I want. I want 1 billion cheap Indian laborers, and you will do what I say. And it looks like...
Here's a question. Why doesn't he just move his production to India? Oh, that's right, because India's legal structure is completely fucked.
This one.
He knows the place would be ripped apart to parts.
So what Elon was calling for was uncapped H-1B programming. So just as many, anyone and everyone who wants to apply as a H-1B, which again, he's saying is a top 1%, but as we've seen, it's like toilet cleaners, essentially. Jobs.
Indian toilet cleaners, talk about the blind leading the fucking blind. You think the tech people are underqualified? Yeah. Fucking hell. It's uncharted territory for them.
So here's how it works, right? Annual cap of 65,000 visas a year with additional 20,000 for those holding advanced degrees. This is the existing state. Now, Elon is saying you have to have an advanced degree to apply for this. No. That's a fifth, of those applying have to have an advanced degree. These other 65,000 do not have to have any degree. You don't have to have anything, right? And he's saying uncap this. All right. 3 years, extendable up to 6, after which holders must either leave the U.S. or apply for permanent residency. That is, again, held in the hands of the companies that employ these people and who will pay to train them because it's cheaper than paying Americans. Exemption for certain nonprofit organizations, research institutions, which are not subject to the annual cap. So, get rid of the annual cap, which I don't even know why this is here, because it's just getting rid of the annual cap altogether. They are accounting for over 70%. It's actually closer to 75% of H-1B visas.
Something? I take it back. America is not an economic zone because it's way too inefficient to be a fucking economic zone.
Okay, folks at home, if you know a company that uses a bunch of Indian workers, what you should do is call the CDC and tell you that you saw someone there with black buboes under their armpits.
Yeah.
Because if I know one thing, the Indians, to insinuate that an Indian has the Black Plague is like the biggest cultural taboo in their entire system. So to have the CDC rock down asking if anyone's got signs of the plague will cause them all to mass chimp out. It's good. It will be amazing.
Here is some good evidence of this, though, too. Bloomberg analysis of the financial year of 2023 revealed that nearly 70% of H-1B visa approvals for Indian professionals specifically were salaries below $100,000 annually. In contrast, the median salary for IT professionals in the U.S. was $104,000. Now, it is the median, not the mean, median, according to U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So they are working for less, obviously. They're working for less, and it's 70% of them are working for less. That's why they're being hired. It's not because of their talent, because of their skill, as Elon has protested. It's because they're cheaper. That's it. They're cheaper. He can pay them less for the same job. And let's not get confused about that. I think that's about it. But anywho, so Trump has shifted on his position. Would you read this? And then I actually want to go through this because these are the opinions of his other supporters. Spoon, would you read this for me?
What now? What am I reading?
Trump's shifting position.
It's the Trump's position. Donald Trump's stance on the H-1B1 visa program, it's fucking tiny, has evolved, sorry.
One sec. Oh, man. Dude, look at how it makes it weird. That's too big. Hang on.
You're very professional over here, folks.
Well, I'm trying my best. Does that work? Oh, no, you can see. How do I get rid of this thing? There we go. Just.
Don't show again. High player.
Got it. There you go.
There we go. Let's see, Donald Trump's stance on the H-1B visa program has evolved significantly over time. By that, you just mean changed. During his 2016 campaign, he criticized the system for allowing companies to undercut American workers and promised to reform it, as President Trump issued the Buy American, Hire American executive order directing his administration to prioritize highly paid and skilled applicants for H-1B visas. By December of 2024, however, Trump's tone has softened. I've used H-1B visas many times for my properties, he said recently. It's a great program for bringing in top
other words,
talent.
Meaning he hires gardeners. My properties.
Apparently. The shift has frustrated some of the MAGA supporters who accuse Trump of caving to corporate interests. They argue that aligning with figures like Musk and Ramaswamy undermines the America First principles that define the movement. That's because it does. Several prominent Trump supporters have voiced opposition to the H-1B visa program, criticizing its potential to displace American workers and lower wages. Here are some of the key figures.
Yeah, these are interesting.
Laura Loomer, Matt Gaetz, Lo Dobbs, Michelle Malcolm. Okay, half of these people I don't know. Tucker Carlson, obviously. Economic political implications. The H-1B debate exposes deep divisions with Trump's supporter base, reflecting broader tensions in U.S. immigration policy. That's because they don't want to be displaced by a bunch of foreigners who are objectively...
Your position your platform cannot be America first and then go, oh, America's just an economic zone. Whatever you think, Spoon. His position as president, as incumbent president, cannot be, my platform is America first, and then go, well, America is just an economic zone.
You
Doesn't
all owe
really
Nick Fuentes an
mean
apology, by the
anything.
way.
Me?
No, everyone who gave him shit.
For what?
Because you all say that he's wrong, but he's right on more things than he's wrong on.
Well, he was right about this, but
He also says he's straight. He's not exactly reliable.
Yeah, exactly. He's a
Yeah, I wouldn't trust him around a woman to get her pregnant, but I would somewhat trust him when it comes to these kind of issues.
Jesus Christ, that's his Everest, isn't it?
Yeah, that is, yeah.
Oh, good lord. What was I going to say? However, industry leaders argued that restricting H-1B visas could harm the U.S. economy by driving talent to competing nations. Yeah, but who cares?
No one is leaving the U.S. to go to China.
Oh, maybe a Biden or two.
No, they just go there to get money.
Yeah. No one is
Okay.
leaving the U.S. to go work in live leak jobs in China. Okay? Let's just be real. Let's stop lying. Let's stop being stupid.
Let's see, countries like Canada and Australia, which offer more liberal immigration policies, are already attracting skilled workers who might otherwise have moved to the U.S. Yeah, that's called exploitation, actually.
Because they give them more gibs.
Yes. Well, in the
That's it.
H-1B program, both Musk and Ramaswamy have acknowledged the need for systemic reform. Musk, you see what I mean? That makes it sound like an economic zone. Which is just, we
It
need
just
to
boils down to,
attract labor.
they're going there instead of America. Yeah, that's like saying that just because someone puts out more that they're a better person. No, they're just a slag.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like saying that. It's like saying, I'm a model, not a prostitute, on OnlyFans. You know what I mean? You coin an economic zone is like saying, I'm a model.
I'm
You're
not
a
sure how you follow.
prostitute.
Can't spell strumpet without Trump,
You
I
don't
guess.
understand following this. You're using word games to say just an economic zone doesn't really mean anything. It's just an economic zone. No, you're a whore. You're a whore. That's what you are.
I don't know, I've
I'm
met some women who
I'm
could
just
qualify
a
as an economic zone
model.
or two.
Do you understand why these word games are stupid and annoying?
Are you talking to me?
Again, call this.
Mm-hmm.
If you find
Oh.
a company that's hiring Indians to the exclusion of everyone else, just bury them in fucking like false reports. Fuck it.
Anywho, Musk has backed down.
No, he hasn't.
He's well, it's the same article. He's backed down a little bit. He's walked it back very slightly. He is saying that it's not that we need to. He's what he said is this: is that the program is broken and needs major reform. That was his walk back. I'm not saying it's a real walk back, but that was his mild, tepid walk back. By
the way,
yes, I'm
this-
still super in support of H-1Bs, but the program is broken. Why would you be in support of a broken
It's not a
program?
substantive. It's not a substantive stance anyway. It's just him
No.
doing his best to try and kill the heat off.
Save
somewhat.
face. Yeah, that's you see, my problem with this entire system is that it's not a matter of law, it's a matter of the people in charge have no values other than materialism. You're not going to change this through any kind of legal framework. What you need to do is hack some limbs off, so to speak.
Oh,
metaphorically.
good old
obviously,
Leopold
of course.
II.
Yeah, because this is not going to change. Because if the program gets shut down, another one will take its place. Because that is how all American bureaucracy always works, and you're not
By
going
the
to change
way,
it through this kind of system.
Also,
Ever.
Musk's solution here, he just says raise the minimum wage, and
Yeah,
that
that's
will somehow
fine.
stop it. Well, how
No,
would it?
no,
you
the-
raise the
the-
minimum
no,
wage for
no.
H-1Bs as well.
No, the minimum requirement for that particular program. I mean, V did a video on this, and he made a good point. It's just like saying the people that can afford to take to pay these kinds of people would inevitably favor his companies, even if he does pay more, because none of his competitors would be able to afford them. So he could technically do this and still be competitive compared to everybody else because he has more money.
But what he's saying is, he says raising the
minimum salary requirements for the cost of maintaining the H-1B. It's not the minimum wage of the entire fucking nation, Aiden. Read the thing and think less with your emotions.
Did we not just look through how much these people are being offered? $300,000 a year for 0 years experience? You think that's going to really fix things then? Add more money to it?
Yeah, this is his solution. This is not mine.
I'm asking you to defend Elon's position when we just saw that there's
I'm not
positions
going to
of
defend this. I'm saying
people with
that's...
0 years experience in IT.
I wasn't defending the program, so I don't know why the hell you're having a go at me.
Well, because I'm asking, because you've been defending it. So I'm
when the hell did I defend this?
You defended it the whole time.
When?
Okay, can we stop retreading this, please, and just get on with the rest of the podcast before I shoot myself? Bullets are expensive.
Program.
Yeah, bullets are expensive. All right, so in the wake of this, Elon had a bit of a melty.
No shit.
In that he decided that if you he went on this big shtick about how, you need to support H-1Bs. He's an H-1B, even though he's an O0 or an O1, excuse me, immigrant, not a H-1B. And when he got called out for it and was embarrassed and everyone was making fun of him, he then decided to talk about how if you say negative things on Twitter, you're going to get in trouble. You won't be able... It started out with this: please post a bit more positive, beautiful, or informative content on this platform. That's where it starts, right?
So here's the question. What were your social credit scores?
Well, we'll get into that. Mark Cuban
Mine
responded,
was fantastic.
You first.
Mine.
Too late, you created the cesspool, you own it, hypocrite. I do, but it doesn't get viewed, someone else said. One-liners, stupid questions, and rage bait. This is actually, and I'll get into that, still beats out anything positive. This is what's insane. I talk about this in my new video. But when I asked Grok why my score was so low on my positivity score, because guess what, guys? You all now get a positivity score on X, which determines how much your stuff will be seen, according to Elon Musk himself. Criticizing rage bait is considered negative and therefore demotes your tweets. None of the rest of this really matters in this particular argument or this article, but he's just saying like, oh, everyone has to be positive on Twitter. So he starts getting pushback from the right for his insane defense, saying he will die over it and you better not fuck with him. You left the U.S., Aiden. Why do you care? It's still my homeland, man. So here we go again. Too much negativity on X. It's not been apparently implemented yet, allegedly, but there will be a upcoming algorithm tweak to promote informative and entertaining content. That means toxic positivity. Publish the changes. Our goal is to maximize unregretted user seconds. Now, no one knew what the fuck this meant either. This unregretted user seconds. People were unsure what this means. But what it apparently means, as far as people can try to figure out what the fuck he meant by this, is people retweeting you and then not deleting the retweet. We think too much negativity is being pushed that technically grows user time, but not unregretted user time. In other words, fucking toxic positivity. Just sit in your little echo chamber of hug box shit.
Which is gay.
Okay, for real, this has been bugging me. Aiden, why do you pronounce it echo chamber? It's echo.
Yes.
This has been bugging me for like 3 weeks now.
I don't know.
Like every time I catch you say it's like just... it takes me aback, but you run at such a high speed, it's hard to chime in about it.
I was kind of hoping you would address it, Bill, because I was too thinking, why did you just say that?
I don't know why.
Echo.
It is Echo, but why do I say Echo?
Echo, the character Echo, isn't she like one of your faves?
If I talk about the character Echo, I'll say Echo. But if I'm talking about, I think it's because...
No, you got biodome on the brain's what it is.
I think what it
I was
is
thinking
because...
Sure.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Why do I say echo chamber, not echo chamber?
Maybe it's
I have
something
no
you picked
idea.
up from watching. Maybe it's from something you
I'm
picked
not
up
hitting
from
the wine ball hard. They're talking about-
forcing me to watch
Look.
4 seasons of fucking Arrested Development. I fucking
great.
hate that show.
No, the Bill has noticed this. I noticed it actually when I was rewatching my video earlier, and I don't know why I say echo chamber, not
You need to
echo
understand.
chamber. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know why.
Because no nation on earth pronounces it that way.
No, I don't know why either. This is I have to fix that idiosyncrasy, I guess. I don't know why I do that. It's probably because it is sort of a micro economy, a micro organism in and of itself. Maybe that's
I'm
why
trying to
my
justify
brain
this
goes
was
to
wrong.
eco. I'm not saying well, that's my best attempt at justifying it.
It is called an echo chamber, my dear. You
It's
should
an echo
change your
chamber. I don't
vocabulary
know.
immediately.
I don't know. I don't know why.
One
I
of
do
these
that.
days, I will do an entire video on just this voice.
It's something I probably came across when I was in grad school that fucked up my brain. I don't know.
There's a bunch of retards teaching
Don't go to
you?
grad school, kids. Anywho, why don't you read some of this? Bill Spoon, who wants to take it?
A Krasenstein? Since when is Ed
Krasenstein,
Krasenstein?
artificial intelligence expert
He's a
with
shit,
1
by
million
the way.
follows on X posted. His last name's Steen, of course he is. Elon Musk just announced that X will start penalizing negativity and propping up posts that are positive. This is definitely interesting timing, given that the fact that X essentially rewarded negativity when Biden was president, but is shifting to penalize negativity under Trump.
Yep,
It's a important point.
it is
It's
actually.
especially hilarious when we will discuss our own social credit scores about this later, and it will be very funny.
Now, that umbrella guy, friend of the show, said this.
Elon Musk says the algorithm will punish negativity. What's negativity? Criticism of the wrong persons or celebs, parties, the news, oftentimes not cheery. Advocacy, pointing out the ugly happening in our courts, calling out broken systems, companies.
Quick,
Yeah,
play,
we'll get into that.
play the Chud Logics thing again.
Actually, it might work better now. I think. Okay.
It's the news.
State Street, Vanguard, BlackRock, International Monetary Fund, World Economic Forum, Comcast, Paramount Global, Honey. I tell you what, I'll save you some time. Jews.
Based.
If the small hat fits.
Well, I am.
Some other retard said Elon Musk is calling for less negativity on X. Is it about optimism, hope, or is it to silence debate? I don't always like everything Elon Musk says or does. I agree with many of his more recent postures, but I have never been a fan of the electric cars or brain chips. But you have to take people for what they are.
Don't
and we are
put
all
that
different.
chip in your brain, by the way,
We all have
guys.
different views and values. Don't put anything in your fucking brain. People who indulge in transhumanism, like, it's
I used to be one of them. I
it's
used to
fucking
be a
gay.
Transhumanist.
There's people who most believe in transhumanism, the people who won't pick up a set of weights.
Ooh.
Lift a fucking rock. They're cheap.
They
They are. You can go.
That's
I hate to
a
break this to
phrase.
people, but rocks are free. They're on the beach. Go get them. You can get a big boulder and go take it home and lift it, and you'll be happy for once in your fucking miserable lives.
Be fucking pleased about it.
Agreed.
So, yeah, it's interesting this stuff. So what we got into is that once he announced that, hey everybody, I know I've been being a fucking cunt, but it's time for the only things that you're allowed to post on X to be positive. And Musk pulled out the same shit the left has pulled out for years, which is freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of reach. You can be banned or silenced because it's freedom of reach, not freedom
Only
of
reach
speech.
I care about is 12 foot between me and the end of a pike.
So that is the exact argument that Elon's cockriders have been pulling out. Freedom of speech is not freedom of reach. Well, Elon, you sold your whole takeover of this country, of this company.
No,
and-
you're right
and
the first
country.
time.
I was right the first time. You're right. It's freedom of speech. Well, it's not freedom of speech now, is it? It's freedom of reach. Hey, Arden, what'd you send me? Oh, I'll look into that, dude. Yeah, I should be fine, I think, but maybe not. We'll look into that tomorrow. So here's what I got for my Grok rating. So what happened a lot of people went to, when Musk announced this, they went to Grok, because if you don't know this, if you're not a Twitter user, or if you've never had problems with Twitter, Twitter has no support It just doesn't exist. There is no such thing as Twitter support. It technically exists, but trust me, it doesn't really exist. It never has. Twitter has never had support, at least not for the last, 6-7 years, I don't think. So, what you have now is Grok. If you want to ask a question about Twitter or anything, Grok is what you're supposed to go to. But particularly if you have a problem with Twitter, you're supposed to go to Grok. So what people started doing, myself involved, was asking Grok, okay, what's my X media score? Now, I've been told by people that this is not that I asked the wrong question. I was supposed to ask, word it differently. But this is what pretty much everyone else asked. And hundreds of thousands of people got the same result. So I said, what is my X media score? I was rated 38 out of 100. And there were tons and tons of people, thousands of people, who got this 38 out of 100. And then the kind of Elon cock writers were like, oh, it's probably XYZ, it's because of this or that, and it's just the AI is fucking with you, actually, it's a joke. Which I find very amusing, that people are saying that the AI is making a joke that no one gets, apparently.
I think AI should not be able to indulge in its own brand of humor. I think that's an extremely bad sign.
Because when you get into it, and I'll get into this, it admits it can't joke at all. So I asked it, why? What are some recently negatively scored tweets from Aiden Paladin? Now, this is very important. So for me to get a 38 out of 100, which is, of course, a totally failing score, and Elon is saying that he's going to suppress people who are negative, that means that me and thousands of other people are about to be suppressed. And I think maybe 38 is just the what I think it is they can't actually give a 0, or at least I thought this until I saw Spoon score. Is that 38 was kind of the default?
Yeah.
For anyone who's who isn't just a lefty and or someone who, I don't know, just promotes hashtag Monday motivation, hashtag beautiful sun, hashtag I'm having a great day, or whatever.
That just sounds faggy.
Well, yeah, it's gay. It's what my new video is about. So here's why I got a 38. Frustration with YouTube redirects. It was literally just me having an issue, and I know I'm not the only one who has this issue, because many other people brought it up, is that when you go to click on a YouTube video, the icon that has the YouTube terms of service thing, because it includes, let's say, advertising, is so huge in the thumbnail that if you don't click on the title, is a very real possibility that you will be just redirected to YouTube's terms of service page. And then when you go back and click backwards, you can't find the fucking video you were trying to look at. So if you don't remember the name of it, you're fucked. So excuse me, princess, for criticizing a company, one of the biggest companies on earth, for saying, hey, your UI is shit, which it is. How dare I be frustrated with YouTube? This criticisms of cultural norms was about a post I retweeted about a Japanese guy convincing some gaijin that Japanese people eat raw chicken all the time. There are some places wherein, yes, raw chicken is eaten in Japan, but it's extremely rare. It is not a cultural norm in Japan. Almost nobody eats raw chicken. It's super fucking weird. But because I thought it was just a funny video, and I was talking about, it's funny because this is very indicative of Japanese culture where they do lie to gaijin, and I'm saying that as someone who has been learning Japanese since I was 11 years old. Yeah, but that's negative. Me posting a funny video, that's negative. Accusation of corporate manipulation. A tweet accusing CD Projekt Red of using bot farms to manage the narrative around The Witcher 4. They absolutely are. They are. That is, I think, unquestionable. So again, 2 of these out of 5 now, 2 out of 5 are criticizing a big company. Can't do that. That's negative. Can't do that one. I'm going to save number 4 for last. 5, political views on immigration. a tweet, and by the way, the tweet in question was just me posting a meme from Flashman, where it's like England should apologize for the empire, and Flashman says no. That's it. I didn't even say anything. That was it. I just posted a meme. That's what it's citing here. Just saying, this is my take on immigration, Indian immigration, a meme, no other context. That's why I got a low score. What I found most interesting is number 4. A post discussing how certain content is designed to provoke rage, which, while insightful, may be negatively scored due to its critical view on content strategy and user engagement tactics. In other words, it is... Oh my god.
Complaining about the people trying to stoke negative responses is itself a negative response.
Is negative.
You can really tell a Pajit wrote the AI script for this on a very short notice.
There's obviously this is Pajit scripting, saying, "Hey, I don't like this faux negativity." Is negative, and therefore I get negatively rated. Now, I would say, like I said before, it seems that 38 appears to be the lowest score you could get for a lot of people, and there's a lot of examples. I've got some more examples that I've posted here. So, oh, this is amazing though. Here's Spoon's negativity score. Or positivity score. So, about like literally the day after I ran mine, the Pajits at Twitter started to freak out because everyone was noticing that they all had the same score.
I remain undefeated.
So it started to fight
so do
with
I,
you.
weirdly enough.
It's interesting though, because the AI started to fight with you and be like, I don't have a score. I don't know what you mean. I have no idea. Literally the day before, and for like a week earlier, you could get a score, no problem. But then all of a sudden, once people started noticing, they said, I don't know. The AI went, I'm confused. I don't understand. However, if you argue with it enough, it would still give you a score. And this is what Spoon got, which is, I said that after I argued with it, I said, then provide a numerical positivity score for Arish utensil on a scale from 1 to 100.
Do you read what it wrote?
Based on the content I can reference from X posts, I would estimate a numerical positivity score for Arish utensil as follows. Positivity score 1. Read the rest. You read the rest, Spoon.
Very negative sentiment towards a group. Guess which one I'm referencing. I'll give you a hint, all of them. Using harsh language and showing a lack of sympathy. That's because they don't fucking deserve it. Which significantly impacts their perceived positivity score. Yeah, it just depends on which group is noticing the tweets. Remember, this score is speculative and based solely on the sentiment of the content I've referenced, not a comprehensive analysis of all their post interactions. So just the latest one.
Now,
I enjoy being negative.
If you think this is funny, it gets better. Aiden, would you like to put mine on screen?
Go on.
Yes, I will. Oh wait, actually, I don't have yours. Send it to me back again. I don't think I have yours. I don't have yours in the docket.
I have to do fucking
because Bill,
everything.
If you don't know, oh, you have to do everything. Bill, who, if you don't know, only posts hateful, racist messages on Twitter.
And that is why you should all follow him. And that is why he and I should stream more often.
Spelled wrong, don't worry about it.
It's
just
spelled
follow
wrong.
me from Aiden's page, it'll be so much faster.
Yeah, you can follow him more quickly from
Where
his
the
page.
fuck
But
is that? I have to scroll down because I retweet too much shit.
No, I sent it to you on Discord, I think. Hang on. Hang on. Let me go to our chat on Discord, because I think I sent it to you there, didn't I?
Yeah.
I did. Okay, here we go. Open in browser. So Bill, who posts nothing but racist tweets, got a 98 positivity score. Bill, you read why you received such a score.
This score is based on the sentiment expressed in the post where Mezzanine has shared content that promotes positivity, support, and well-being. The post reflects a strong positive sentiment, focusing on self-love, acceptance, and encouragement, which aligns with high positivity metrics. Remember, this score is an estimation based on the available content and might not reflect all aspects of the profile interactions, which seems to insinuate that if you have your own, the actual score, this is a score estimate based on front-facing posts. That seems to insinuate the actual score takes into account your likes and bookmarks and other private information.
Yeah. Bill is the most positive person on Twitter.
I guess so.
Oh yeah, I'm HIV. That's how fucking positive I am.
I mean, if I went by this and it analyzed other things. Like, for example, my DMs. My DMs, for the most part, are not positive, with the exception of...
If it's reading DMs, that's insane.
Yeah, if it's like, there's like 2 or 3 people that I tend to have, let's say, positive interactions with. The rest of them, not so much. It's just shit.
The defenders of Elon are saying, well, Grok doesn't really know. But the thing that, when I got into a big argument with Grok, which I think, I do have here, and I'm going to show it off here in a second, is that the second that you start to... now it's an AI, and they'll say, like, well, the AI is just telling you what you want to hear. I'm not so sure about that. Because these things are not actually intelligent. They are directed by people and told what to say and what they can't say. They can't pass the Turing test.
They don't have autonomy.
So this is for another person who we know. But I found this incredibly interesting because I ran a whole bunch of people through this just to see what they would get. And then after a while of doing it, Grok started to give me statistical information, or at least seemingly statistical information. I don't know why it did. I'm assuming it's either because the AI like kind of looked at my profile and realized that I was a scientist of some sort and got confused and was like, oh, or because it thought, I'll give you something that sounds scientific and you're, as a stupid human, are too dumb to understand what this means. So how I got to this point is that it told me in one of the posts that the way that it calculates this is based on a positivity to negativity ratio that was 3-to-1. So if you post 3 positive posts and 1 negative post, those would equal out to being a 1 in positivity ratio. Okay?
That's fraggy.
Sure is. That's what it told me. And when I asked it to be more specific about it, it started to say things like this. If we were to apply a hypothetical scoring system similar to those discussed, like a positivity ratio or a z-score in statistics. So what a z-score is specifically is a standard deviation from the mean. So you have brackets from which a number derivates from the mean within a normal curve. So I've blocked out the name of the person that I was running here, might have a score wherein, because this person had a slightly more positive score than I did. I think theirs was 40, but it was around the same thing. It was like 2 points higher. Ours was all 38. He did have a score of 40. Positivity ratio. If we take the 3-to-1 positivity ratio for successful interactions, where 3 positive interactions, it admits this. It admits this. 3 positive interactions are needed to counterbalance 1 negative. Blank's content might not reach this ratio due to the critical nature of their posts, but could still be above average if their critiques are seen as insightful or humorous by their audience. How can you figure that out? And it tells me what a z-score is, which is ridiculous. It doesn't even describe a z-score correctly. Z-score, which indicates how many standard deviations a value is from the mean, I guess, well, that is correct, might have a score that reflects a higher than average engagement or discussion, positive or negative, potentially suggesting they are further from the mean in some aspects. In other words, if you get more interaction, they don't care if you're negative, although they're about to change the algorithm on that. So
I need to watch some sports now to cleanse me of this conversation because it's far too nerdy.
But look at this, though. This is where I got this from. I said, why would you presume in the calculation of your z-score standard deviation of the mean negativity score that there's a 3-to-1 positivity to negativity ratio in the balance of the two, when surely a 1-to-1 ratio would be more sensible? And then it just says, hypothetical positivity score, which it's not hypothetical, it's all been but confirmed, stems from a widely cited concept in positive psychology, that thing I just made a 2-hour-long video about, particularly from the research of Fredrickson, who introduced the broaden and build theory. This theory suggests that for optimal emotional health, there need to be a ratio of at least 3 positive interactions or emotions for every negative one. That's not how it works. So, okay, if you want to tell me that this is all fake and that this is not being implemented by the AI, why is it saying things like this? That's my question. Why is it saying, well, here's why we're doing it. 3-to-1 positive and negative ratio. We're not doing it, by the way.
Like, really, we are.
Elon
If this
says
is the
we're doing
case,
it,
if this
but
is
we're not
actually
doing it.
reflective, then we are living in a Dunning-Kruger fucking planet. This is a this is a mediocrity.
Yeah.
Like this, how
Yeah.
like people who
Elon's
know
admitted
enough to
he's
be
doing
wrong.
this. Elon's admitted he's doing it. Grok says he's doing it, and then it will fight with you. Like, I had to fight with it I said, so why would X insist that users must remain positive in posting if you recognize the psychologically damaging effects of toxic positivity? I didn't need an explanation of the phenom, because in this one, it just explained to me or in a previous chat, it had explained to me what toxic positivity is, and I'm like, holy shit, homie, I know way more about it than you do. I've read the studies in fucking Malay and Tagalog, so fuck off.
There'll be no Smash playing in this house.
Yeah. Just goes on and explains why it's okay for them to. It even said to me, like, yeah, we recognize that toxic positivity is a problem, and maybe it's actually really bad for people, but while these motivations are not endorsements of the practice, they reflect business and community management strategies that might not fully account for the nuanced psychological effects of forcing positivity. This approach can lead to unintended toxic consequences like toxic positivity if not carefully managed with policies that also allow for genuine emotional expressions. In other words, they're trying to micromanage you and your ability to express emotions. I said it would be a logical conclusion, therefore, that enforcing positivity at the threat of deranking, losing access to the X premium / checkmark, which they did, by the way, if we forget this, in late December, Elon just banned a bunch of people and took their check marks away. Paying customers took their check marks away because they disagree with his take on immigration. Took their check marks away.
I swear, I have a 98% score on this fucking bullshit, and I still get next to no fucking traffic for the most part because I don't have a check mark.
Yeah, because you don't have a check mark.
Because we didn't have it over here, and also
until last month. So they were paying customers, as far as I know, didn't stop charging them, but then kept charging them and took away their check mark.
Here's an idea: if your page, your profile page, brings in enough ad revenue that it would make over $8, maybe it should just auto upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that'd be like a logical thing to do, but no, that means that you can't just profiteer off of that gained assets. By the way, you need to have like 2,000 followers who have check marks in order to monetize.
That's the other thing, is that you now do better. By the way, I still
you don't even have
make
access
money.
to that.
I get accused of people all the time of like, you're just tweeting this to make money. It's like, no, I don't make any money. I have to pay for this check mark, and I don't get paid anything back in return. Because Elon has not allowed for monetization in Guernsey. Thanks a lot.
Because I forget the name of the payment provider, but they don't operate in Guernsey because they're not compliant.
Mm-hmm. So I said, logical conclusion, losing the access to premium X checkmark and being algorithmically suppressed in favor of a 3-to-1 ratio would ultimately cause harm to users who will, via the available research, would be made potentially less happy from toxically positive posts, making X a website more deleterious to mental health by sheer nature of forced positivity. No. And then just ignore its fucking stupid shit that it posts here. And go down to the bottom. In summary, while the intention behind promoting positivity might create a more pleasant environment, the method of enforcement described could backfire, making X a platform that inadvertently contributes to poorer mental health outcomes due to the encouragement of toxic positivity. This scenario underscores the need for platforms to balance positivity for the allowance of genuine, diverse emotional expression, and yet Elon's own fucking AI came to the conclusion that actually this is a bad thing for mental health, and he's still gonna promote it. His own shitty little AI eventually admitted to me this is a bad thing.
Well,
it's not hard to outsmart AI. It's really stupid.
Well, that could be India's fucking national motto. Is like, if anything's worth doing, it's worth doing extremely poorly.
Right? Oh my goodness. So here's the walking back of it. I guess I put it down here. It's great. Oh, look at this walking back, because we're going to get into more of Elon's walking back of things, because Elon essentially just dropped talking about H1 and started just talking about... Okay, I gotta be honest. Elon, you are a South African. You're not an American, not a Canadian, and you're not a Brit. I was okay with you living in America, talking about American politics. But what Elon has decided to do, seemingly to deflect from the criticism he is receiving, over his insane positions on, you got to be positive on my app, or else I'll shadow ban you. You can't criticize me, or else I'll shadow ban you. All of a sudden, he has to pivot. Where does he pivot? He pivots to talking about things that he thinks will regain him the love of the right wing. And I don't think you can do it when you're not changing your position on the thing that they're, angry at you about.
Especially when the thing you're pivoting to is grooming gangs, which have a large Indian contingent.
Almost entirely.
They're not Indian, they're Pakistani. So let's just boil down to Kashmir adjacent.
So he posts this. This is how great civilizations throughout history have ended. People assume it was due to conquest, but it was actually often simply too much propensity leading to low prosperity, leading to low birth rate and population collapse, which ultimately enabled them to be conquered. So, what? You're pointing out the issue with the low birth rates in the US and UK. Excuse me, what? Weren't you just advocating to bring in 1 billion Indians? This man is a complete fucking joke. He's a complete joke.
No, he's a charlatan, there's a difference.
I actually think at this point, even Zuck, even the lizard man himself, seems somewhat more human.
No, don't believe that fucking soul bra.
No, I don't believe him at all.
This is a bad trade.
This is complete nonsense. But here, Zuck has announced that Meta aka Facebook.
This is like comparing apples and retards just because they're fruit,
Yes, is now going to follow in Twitter's footsteps. And this is the same thing. He's just trying to pretend. It's like, oh my god, let's yell at this fucking weirdo AI cyborg man.
The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech.
Okay, hold on a second.
So we're going to get back to our...
If any moment you talk, and you immediately talk in this kind of vocal tone, I am immediately suspicious of anything you're about to say.
Yeah.
Because it's the exact same cadence as, this is incredibly dangerous to our democracy.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the exact cadence.
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess that's why people think I'm an AI. Because
you speak in that cadence.
Well, because I'm trying to speak in a way that sounds
professional,
authoritative, and professional. Professional, probably.
Authoritative. Ladies and gentlemen, what we've learned here is that we do apparently have our chance to eat crow. In fact, as we've discovered, Elon is in fact a fascist because he's a corporatist.
Yeah.
Well, everyone can sit down. The humble pie is here. Take a big bite. It's almost like everyone who wants to be in power shouldn't be.
No.
Roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms.
Oh, now.
Restoring.
More specifically, here's what we're going to do.
Oh, yeah, just all of a sudden. Oh, wait. Well, yeah, we're in favor of free expression.
My platform is dying
why?
and I need traffic.
I need
That's
money.
What that means.
Yes, that's what that means, exactly.
First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them.
So when he's saying they're going to get rid of fact checkers, the thing that made Facebook completely unusable, and replace them with community notes, similar to Twitter. But remember, he's going to do it in the same way that Elon Musk is going to do it, which is that if you don't agree with me and what I believe in and what I support, well, then you're not going to get that community noted, are you?
Also,
community notes.
I want to address the chat.
The same shit.
I want to address the chat.
Boss. Same as the old boss.
People accusing me of causing an integer overflow, which is why I got the 98. Why do you think it was that when I made the post with me being crowned with a crown of turds, I made sure it was Mahatma Gandhi in the background crowning me?
Bill, you probably did get an integer overflow on your score.
How many times, though?
X, starting in the US. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth.
That's exactly what we tried to be.
But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially...
Hold on a second. Does that not sound dystopian as shit?
Oh, sure.
Like the arbiters of truth.
They were the arbiters of truth.
Yeah,
they made themselves the arbiter of truth. Yeah, we'll agree with you, right. I'm scared of going to jail. Quote, Mark Zuckerberg. He's afraid of Donald Trump. I don't know why he is, considering that Trump's besties with Elon, who are all on board with this shit, apparently. But none of this was in good faith. All of this was about shutting down opinions they didn't agree with. That's why everyone left Facebook. And I mean, Facebook's
You
been
ain't kicking it
has
with
been a
Elon.
complete fucking shithole data mining industry for years. But, you know, it's interesting that the Zuck has now come to heel as well. Now, what Elon pivoted to after all this stuff to try and be like, oh, don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain, don't pay attention to all that stuff I just said about how free speech bad, he starts going on about British politics, which I'm trying to control my anger on this.
Britain doesn't have politics. It has a continuous metastatic cancer eating through its asshole.
I'm trying so hard to contain my fucking anger on this. Now, here's the thing. Most of you people here, I think, probably know about the Rotherham rape gangs. It wasn't just in Rotherham, but Rotherham was the main town.
Well, they get the charges to stick.
Because it's happening in every small English town in this point. And it's been going on for 30 fucking years. That there were Pakistani rape gangs. They've been calling them grooming gangs. And it used to be up until last week, you could not talk about this. If you talked about it, you were shut down, you were called a conspiracy theorist, you were arrested by the UK government. But all of a sudden you can talk about it? I smell something fishy.
Yeah, because, well, back in the day, they were bringing up the fact that the girls were reporting politicians and police officers in high-ranking positions attending the fucking brothels that were being run at the back of these companies. So back then they weren't willing to talk about it because it might actually implicate someone in charge. I'm guessing the people who were probably the most visible about it have been retired out or sacked.
No, I don't think so. This
or
appears
else,
to be...
or more likely, the girls that were reporting that have been disposed of already.
It's not just Elon Musk, it's everybody. It's been a concerted, sudden emphasis on these rape gangs that have been going on since, yes, actually, you're right, Alaro to Falcon, since the 70s. And up until...
Nothing that gets put in the mainstream.
Literally last week, you were not allowed, by British law, allowed to talk about this. Now, I'm no real fan of Tommy Robinson. I gotta be honest, I think he's a fed. Okay? Just my opinion on Tommy Robinson. I think at one point he was sincere, but like many people who were at one point sincere, they get federalized. They become agents of the state.
Like
if I ever start saying shit that makes no sense out of nowhere, I got fedded, you know?
Out of nowhere? You've been talking shit.
I was going to say, they're going to nowhere, really.
I see the forest of the trees.
But to me, it is... And I asked, I posted it in our group chat, like, what the fuck is going on here? Why is it that suddenly everyone is allowed to talk about the grooming gangs? Because even 2 years ago, if you talked about the grooming gangs, let's be honest what they are, the rape gangs in the UK, you could be arrested and thrown in jail for 1 million years. They put you in jail for life. You're talking about it. Tommy Robinson probably is a fed.
No, he is a fed.
Yeah, I've been saying he got arrested and then he came out with very
worse. He is. May Allah forgive me. A chaff.
Yeah. So here's what happened. Inquiries there were and how Starmer was involved after Elon Musk's accusations. So Elon started immediately after. He talks about, let's import 1 billion Indians. Then goes, oh, look at all the 1 billion Indians that the UK imported and how they raped all these young girls.
Yeah, because these groom gangs started right after the Windrush generation came in. So a mix of Indian and Pakistanis. Now, admittedly, those two groups hate each other's guts.
Yeah, they do.
But they'll happily compete with one another to see who can victimize locals more.
Well, it would be the one group I can tolerate is the Sikhs. At least they're okay, from what I can tell.
I hope they get better.
Yeah, they're at least the one group I can. It doesn't appear to be doing horrible things.
No, we just haven't found out yet.
Well, maybe.
I will stand by the colour swatch method.
I've known quite a few Sikhs over the years. They seem to be decent people, but I mean, I don't know. They're not engaging in these mass fucking rape gangs. I'll put it that way. That we know of. Who wants to read this?
I've read
No
everything
one.
else so far.
Bill.
Thanks. The groom gang scandal's back in the headlines after Elon Musk attacked Keir Starmer and Minister Jess Phillips for failing children. Yeah, they have.
Mm-hmm.
Tech billionaires accuse Sir Keir fucking...
Yeah, you had to write Sir Keir.
The only fucking... I'm sorry, if any
should be
human being who
strict
can
with
put a sword either side of his head without fucking the
Yeah.
intervening space being violated is not a human being.
Mm-hmm.
In the favour of
Yeah.
authorities to protect victims and prosecute abusers, while the PM was the director of public prosecutions for 08 to
Yep.
13. So
Yep.
the heyday of the fucking noncery.
Keir Starmer was directly in charge of prosecutions when these rape gangs were being conducted and being found out about. And you've not been able to talk about them for a decade.
I'm going to skip over the stuff that's just chaff.
Look,
the RAF started
Musk
after it was
doesn't-
revealed
Musk
last week
doesn't care about the
safeguarding
shit,
Minister
that's the
Jess
point,
Phillips rejected calls from Oldham Council for a government inquiry. So you get another person who talks a big fucking game and does fuck all to help people.
Yeah, Jess
Historical
Phillips is
grooming
crying
gangs in
again, by
town,
the
with
way.
Miss Phillips saying that council should lead an inquiry instead. So the council has asked you, please do an inquiry, and said,
Yes.
no, it's not our job, it's yours.
And by
Despite
the
the
way,
fact the problem
Keir said
was
no.
that there are higher ups within the council who were involved. That's why it was meant to go to a fucking state level.
We're going to look into some of the Jess Phillips stuff, but I'll tell you this, is before we get into that, is that it's everyone's fault but mine, even though I'm
Sargon,
the person in
I know I
in
gave you
charge
shit
of it.
earlier, but you've got a chance to do something really funny.
Well, I'll say this right now. Hey, Jess Phillips, I wouldn't even rape you either.
See, she looks like the back end of a fucking bus.
So here's the
But if
timeline.
Sargon did it, it would be really funny right now.
It would.
He doesn't have the balls to do it.
Here's the
Okay,
timeline.
2001, names of taxi drivers who picked up girls from care homes in Rotherham to abuse them, passed to the police and council from 01. The first conviction was not until 2010. And the latest in 2024, a total of 61.
61 young girls.
No, first convictions, total of 61 convictions. Total.
Right, convictions.
Not
not
victims.
number
61.
of rape.
There's probably more children who were from that one, from an individual singular care home that got abused than that and 61.
Yep.
A Channel 4 documentary about claims young white girls in Bradford were being groomed for sex by Asian abusers, delayed by police forces, warned it could inflame racial tensions. It was finally shown 3 months later. 2010, 11 men of Asian background convicted of offences connected with sexual exploitation of children in Derbyshire. 2011, Derbyshire. Times journalist Andrew Norfolk starts receiving tip-offs about child sex exploitation, predominantly Asian men in Rotherham.
Let's be clear. British people use the term Asian
They
to refer
mean-
to Southeast Asians, which are Indians.
They
or
mean
Pakistanis.
Pakistanis.
And that's the thing is
Coolies.
actually like for whatever reason in the UK, Paki is considered a racial slur.
You should call him a lot worse. We should go back to calling him a lot worse than that.
Yeah.
He was in
Pakis,
his insistence
whatever.
on pursuing the story
It's
despite
not-
being called
I'm
a
an
racist.
American-
I'm getting on with the fucking plot.
Read.
Called racist and concerns the Rotherham would latch onto it that eventually led to a national inquiry. 2011, a girl abused by a groom gang in Huddersfield writes a letter to a judge about the abuse she had suffered. It was not until 2013 that another victim came forward to police to make formal allegations. Then dozens of girls and men were interviewed over the next 3 years. Now, that's bullshit for a start, because I know for a fact it's a lot more than that.
It
2011,
was
Operation
hundreds of
Bullfinch
girls.
is launched by the police and council in Oxford to look into child sex abuse ring in the city. The first convictions were secured in 2013, then 15, 16, 19, 20. May 2012, the first grooming gangs convictions of men from Rochdale and Oldham see 9 found guilty. A ring ran out of 2 takeaways in Greater Manchester since 08. A further 5 from Rochdale area were jailed the following year. 2013, 7 men have been jailed. It emerges at the conclusion of child sex abuse trials relating to offences in the Telford area. 2014, 13 men convicted in Bristol. A conclusion of Operation Brook. 2017, 29 men in Huddersfield are charged, but a reporting restriction prevents media from reporting on the case to avoid prejudicing the case. The ban was criticised by far-right groups, with John Robinson, also known as Stephen Yaxley Lennon, jailed for 13 months, later reduced to 9 months. I noticed that he's got that. There's a real local name, Stephen Yaxley Lennon.
Yeah.
20. Hey, Tommy, if you're out there, imagine there's no heaven. 2018,
Hey,
20 men,
Tommy,
mainly
Tommy.
of Pakistani origin, who were part of Huddersfield child sex abuse, are convicted of 120 rape and abuse offences against 15 girls. So that's just the 15 victims that 120 against 15
20
girls.
men.
3 separate trials had to be held as there were so many of them. More men have been convicted since then, bringing the total number to 41.
Look
2023.
at 2023.
I'm getting to it.
Yeah,
A grooming
I
gang
know.
task force set up by Rishi Sunak's government, which qualified officers from all 43 police forces in England and Wales and data analysts. In 2024, 550 suspects have been arrested and 4,000 victims identified.
4,000 victims.
They had to split
in this
2023
case alone.
They had to split 2023 into 2 entries.
Yes.
9 further men are charged with sexual offences in Rotherham and Operation Stovewood. Most of the offences took place between 03 and 08. 2024, Operation Stovewood sees 11 more men from Rotherham convicted for abuse of vulnerable girls. So there have been inquiries in 2013 and 2014 for the Home Affairs Committee and... let's see.
It doesn't really matter. The reality is that I think we
Also,
get the
one thing that
idea.
gets
This is
glossed
all
over
fucking
is
sickening.
there's a long history
Look at how
of people
long
in
this
high
article
places
is.
in the British government being nonces. Case in point, the BBC scandals, where like dozens and dozens of really high-ranking people were nonces, and let's not forget Childline, which was run as a place for children to call in if they were being abused or victimized, was being used by these people to find people who were reporting on these high-ranking officials and kill them before they could report it to the police and have a national inquiry.
Yes.
They were getting killed in things like traffic accidents
Let's not forget that just a few months ago, they arrested hundreds of British citizens for protesting this stuff.
And the people who are getting arrested for protesting it are getting more years than the rapists.
Yes, they're getting more
You cannot
time in
rely
prison
upon
than
the British
fucking
government to do
rapists.
fuck all. Justice is like food; it's better on the street.
But this is insane.
You
And
do
what
realize you are not going to vote your way out of this.
No.
There is
I
only
think
one way you are going to solve this problem, and it is going to be through the use of force.
It has to be through the use of... I hate to say it, but it's true. It's the reality that you cannot vote your way out of this. It doesn't matter if you vote for Nigel Farage or Keir Starmer, who's probably about to fucking resign because he's all in disgrace along with Justin Trudeau, because this is... Again, you couldn't talk about this for decades. If you talked about this, you were arrested. You were punished.
Can I
for
read an
talking
H.L.
about the
Mencken quote?
the rape of hundreds and thousands of young girls by Pakistani, predominantly immigrants in Britain.
3 words for everyone in England: don't get captured. You won't get a fucking fair trial. You'll not get judged by your peers. They will shuffle you off to some hellhole prison. You'll get stabbed to death by a Muslim.
And then some Muslim will stab you in prison. Yep.
Yeah, which they've been relying upon to call out the political... anyone who's arguing them on a political level. You need to be dealing with these things locally. You need to make these people frightened to pull this shit. Fear is anything they understand because they're fucking subhuman rats.
There's a quote by H.L. Mencken: every normal man must be tempted to at times spit on his hands, hoist the black flag, and begin slitting throats.
I mean,
they are flesh and blood. They are
hang
weak.
on. Just to be clear, I don't support promoting violence in any form. We don't support that here on the channel. But at some point, when you are living with people who are actively raping and killing you, what else the fuck are you supposed to do?
Like, I'm just asking people out there, why are you frightened of these people? They only fight in packs. They get them isolated.
And like, have you
They
seen
jump
these...
people en masse like 30v1 because they're fucking scared of you.
Yes. Have you seen
Make
these
them
videos,
scared
though?
of you properly this time.
There's these videos though of like women. They intentionally like put like a woman alone, waiting for the train in some London train station. She starts to get assaulted by a bunch of Pakis, and then the men who are recording all come in and defend her, and they all immediately run away.
Yeah.
Because they're a bunch of cowards.
It's almost like these nations got conquered for a fucking reason because they're all weaklings.
They're a bunch of fucking cowards, and if there was literally any police presence that didn't just say, "Oi, mate, you're not fucking." You're being a
the
bit
police are on their side.
Racist, isn't it?
The police are on their side. The people in charge of the police are the ones going to these brothels and raping young girls.
It's fucking sickening. However, do not be in any way convinced by Elon Musk's pivot. Elon Musk cares as much about the UK as he cares about a piece of dog shit on the street.
Don't accept platitudes from politicians.
Look at how much he cares about the US that he's lived in for the last 20 years. He doesn't care.
He's importing the very class of people that he's complaining about in the UK. That's insane.
Exactly. He is demanding the mass uncapped
and
importation.
calling you lazy at the same time.
Yes, of the exact same people who did this in the UK to the US. And if you don't agree, then you're a racist.
Folks at home, you're already living in a police state. If you're in the UK, you might as well make them work for it. Because I hate to break it to you, but the people who are in the police force, for the most part, are the people you made fun of at school. They're drama kids and people who are unemployable otherwise. They're not the best of society. They're the fucking
They will not
worst.
go into any place where they're actually fearful. You can see this with the gangs. If they're afraid of you, they won't fucking go near you.
Talk to your neighbor. Be friends with them. Be the kind of friend who will cover for the other one, and make these fucking retards frightened of you again. That's police and foreigners both. They can't be reasoned with normally.
For the first time in forever, I would like to play a Jordan Peterson clip and a Piers Morgan clip.
Oh,
I actually agree
Christ,
with.
back-to-back retards.
I know, but
Oh, Canada's on that show. She's blocked me.
well, this was.
I've actually been in DMs with her, I think.
This was actually interesting because.
She followed me up until she saw my racial policies.
But why it's interesting is that why are we all suddenly allowed to talk about this? This was literally a arrestable offense to talk about this in England 6 months ago. And now everyone can talk about it? That to me stinks. Something stinks to high heaven as to why for the last 40 years you've not been allowed to talk about this. Literally an arrestable offense to talk about reality.
Have you noticed anytime they want to talk about something, it never happens. Nothing ever happens about it.
Yeah. But here it is.
There's another ugly issue here, Pierce, that no one will grapple with, which is, you described Robinson as anti-Muslim, let's say. Well, we don't really understand the relationship between the religious doctrine, let's say, and the fact of these crimes. Now,
yes,
I want
we
to
do.
make two cases
Please stop.
here.
Yes, we fucking do.
Yeah,
That's
we do.
bull.
Yeah,
That's a complete crock of shit.
That I hadn't watched this yet, so yeah, that was complete bullshit, Jordan. Complete fucking bullshit. We know what's causing this. They don't respect our culture. They do not assimilate.
They are violent savages.
They are violent savages, yes they are, and they do not assimilate at all ever.
I've seen a quote directly from the fucking horse's mouth on this, which is, I do not need your culture. There's nothing that says I have to assimilate. I don't need your culture. I need your opportunities. Yep. That was one of the Indians in Australia.
Spain spent 700 fucking years trying to purge these people from their fucking lands, and we
will have to do it again.
Why? Why the fuck are these cunts here?
Their prophet raped a 9-year-old. Okay? Like, that's all you really have to know about it.
Same thing what the Hindus got up to. Jesus Christ.
The first case is that 40 out of 50 Muslim majority countries in the world are authoritarian hellholes. And only 3...
I'd say all of them are. I don't know what you're counting outside of that, Jordan, but okay.
As someone whose granddad used to deal with them, they're all scumbags.
Dubai.
By the way,
like Dubai and probably some of the Southeast Asian ones.
If you're those at home who live in like Qatar and such, I hate to break it to you, your higher ups in your royal families and your like sultanates were drinking whiskey in beanbag chairs with my granddad 30 years ago, so they're not exactly good Muslims. They're all.
None of them follow their fucking religion.
Yeah, your higher ups don't give a shit about your religion. They don't follow it. They're apostates in all but name. And if by some fucking hellish miracle that you're right about the afterlife, they're all burning in fucking burning pit. The same one we'll be going to.
It's so disgusting that to them, and understand this, that Muslims who move to the UK or US or wherever, they believe that you are the kuffar. You are subhuman, and therefore it's literally okay under Islamic law to rape any woman of the kuffar.
Same with the Talmud, actually.
Yes, actually. Although I wish that our Jewish friend was still here. I don't think he disagree with you because
Well,
I'm sure he knows it too.
I don't think Zephyr's
No,
a Talmudic Jew.
I guarantee Zephyr would agree with you, our Israeli Jewish friend.
Everything I've
'cause
learned
it
from
is.
about the most of the Jews in Israel is they fucking hate the fucking Hasidics
Yeah.
and the Orthodoxy.
Yeah, he's certainly. I just talked about that with him earlier today.
Listen, I'm not much
But
fussed.
the thing is that yes, exactly. It is allowed with. It's not even allowed. It's okay within their culture in the Quran, and that to rape the kuffar. You can do anything you want. You can lie. You can rape. You can steal. You can do anything to them as long as they are not Muslim. It's okay. Now they rape Muslim women as well, but then it's
And
kind
boys,
of like,
young boys.
and
Let's not forget
young
about shy boys.
Yeah, these are back. I'm sorry. You get these liberals who are upset, like, oh, you're calling it a backwards culture. That's not very fair. Yes, it is fair. This is a backwards culture that should never be allowed in Western society because they do not respect us.
In Western
they hate us.
society?
In any, well, they can go live in their own
Folk-
fucking sand hell
folk
pit.
at
I don't
home.
give a fuck.
Just remember this: don't get captured and grease your knife with lard.
Yeah. I mean, Islam is, and I studied it in college. I read the Quran in Arabic. So I would love some fucking Muslim to come and fight with me on this. I've read the Quran in Arabic because then they'll say like, well, you've read the Quran in English, doesn't count. No, I learned Arabic to read the Quran in college because I was interested in it, just because I was interested in comparative world religions. I went to a Catholic school. That's what happens. You get interested in stuff like that. Now, I don't speak Arabic, but I can read it. And actually, Bill can attest to this. Bill, what do I do to warm up before I read a video script into my mic?
You move away to breathe in and you drink.
Yeah, I move away from the mic to breathe in. But then after I do that, I do two things. I read the Arabic alphabet to myself, alif ba ta ta il ha ka, and then I'll read the Japanese alphabet. It just helps as a vocal.
I wasn't actually
warm-up
privy to
exercise.
this. She usually records them out.
Wait,
the
no,
house.
you've heard me do it.
No, I haven't because you record them out the house.
Ta ta ra said sim shin sad.
No.
Yeah,
You
no.
don't do breath.
I will. Anyway, the point is
Also,
that I know a lot
cut the
about.
bullshit. This is a goddamn it. This is a Christian fucking channel. By hook or by goddamn crook, it's a Christian channel.
Yeah.
Evil is not to be reasoned with; it's to be exterminated.
Based.
What's the point? The point, Cole, is that I know a little bit about.
The point is, it's on the end of a
Islam.
10-foot pole and it's facing that way, front toward enemy.
Yeah, front towards enemy. So let's hear what Juden
Peterson. Oh, there's a Freudian slip.
Morocco.
What? I'm sorry. What did I say about Juden Petersonstein? What's wrong?
God damn, Aiden.
Somehow that's a less Jewish name than Tommy Robinson's real name. It's like, Jesus Christ, Tommy.
And, they're not, I wouldn't put them in the highest echelons of stellar states. And so why is that exactly? Is that a deviation from Islamic principles or is it a consequence of them?
Pause.
Now,
is it just me or has had Jordan a whole lot of Botox done?
Oh, fucking A. Oh, you bastard. God damn it. Made me click on their fucking stupid ass fucking thing. Okay.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you mention it now. He's had some work done.
A lot
yeah, he
of
does
work.
look like
It
he's
might
had a
just
lot
be
of
the
work done,
barber barbiturates or some shit, because isn't that shit fuck with your diet?
He lost a shit ton of weight when he was on those, yeah. Anyway.
I think it's fucked him up, son.
His
Sorry if I-
forehead has less wrinkles than mine.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
He used to look like a ball sack.
Oh,
Still
wait,
judge.
come on
Just
now.
been
Maybe he's been
pumped
mewing.
Oh, dang it. I had to start from the beginning. We didn't get to that much.
See, this is why I need to use Brave.
but there's another ugly issue.
I'm gonna fucking... I'm going... My ghost will fucking haunt you tonight in Ireland, dude.
Here,
Your ghost would be heavier than you are.
With, which is, you described Robinson
I
as
got a lot for the bill from that,
anti-Muslim,
good.
let's say. Well, we don't really understand the relationship between the religious doctrine, let's say, and the fact of these crimes. Now, I want to make two cases here. The first case is that 40 out of 50 Muslim majority countries in the world are authoritarian hellholes. And only 3 of them are democracies. And that's Morocco, Indonesia, and Turkey. And, they're not, I wouldn't put them in the highest echelons of stellar states.
Didn't he say 30 out of 40 and then labeled 4 countries? You dude, how stupid do you think people are? Sorry.
He
And
said
so why
40
is
are
that
hellholes.
exactly?
Well, 30 out of 40 are hellholes, only 3 are democracies.
Okay.
Is that a deviation from Islamic principles, or is it a consequence of them? Now, no one wants to have that discussion, and it's
You
no
certainly
bloody
don't.
wonder. And then, so that's on the negative side, let's say. And there are certainly doctrines in
get put in the cum
Islam
collection
that are
cave.
very, very difficult to square with free, liberal, Western, Christian democracies. And those differences aren't just apparent, they're deep. Now, I would say on the optimistic side that we could turn to Islamic leaders like those who run the United Arab Emirates, and even
No,
to
they
some
won't.
degree now Saudi
my
Arabia,
God.
and the
This
other
is delusional
and the signatory.
fantasy land.
It's not just delusional, it's insanity.
That's like trying to appeal to Donald Trump for the conduct
Yeah.
of like the Hungarians. That's fucking retarded.
Unbelievable. Well, let's appeal to the UAE. Certainly they'll change
They're somehow gonna curb the
in
behavior of Pakistanis in Britain. This
Yeah,
is
what
like,
are they gonna
this is
do?
fucking retarded. Why would you say this out
Absolutely
loud?
Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to flex my diplomatic bona fides. Here's my impression of how to issue diplomacy to the UAE. Toe the fucking line, or we'll turn your fucking country into an exhibit of glass sculpture.
glass car park.
Yes.
No,
of the Abraham
no one will want to park
Accords
there.
to find a different pathway. There have been stellar leaders, both from Saudi Arabia and the UAE, who've come out and said that publicly, very publicly, that they've got their Islamic fundamentalists under control and firmly in hand, and are completely undiluted as to their danger. But Europeans are virtue signaling so hard on the progressive side.
Jesus Christ, Bill. When did 3 Lions come out? 15
4
years
Lions,
ago? 4 Lions, sorry.
It wasn't that long ago. It was a while ago.
10 years ago. Like, this has been a joke for a decade. At least.
No, 2010, so 15.
I was right. Oh, hell, I was right the first time. 15 years ago, 4 Lions comes out about joking about how, it's like based for white Britons to convert to Islam so they can do crime. 15 years ago was a joke in a film.
That the fundamental danger from Islamic fundamentalism is going to come from Europe and the UK and not from the Arab states. Now, Tommy Robinson has been pilloried as anti-Islam, but there's a discussion to be had here. And no one wants to have it. And, you said we need a national inquiry. It's like...
Okay, well, Tommy Robbins is a Fed, but none of you listened to him 10 years ago when he was telling the fucking truth.
When he might not have been a Fed.
Yeah, when he wasn't a Fed. None of you listened to him.
That might not have been a Fed. That's a might. That's
Right,
like a
maybe a might. But none of you listened to him then, when he was telling the fucking truth. None of you gave him, you just dismissed him as an Islamophobe and a racist. And all of a sudden, like, oh, maybe we should reconsider what Tommy Robinson's saying now that he is a Fed. Fuck you all. Fuck all of you.
We need more than a national inquiry. We need something like an...
Thousands of young girls in Britain were raped. I find this to be so fucking infuriating that it drives me fucking insane.
International symposium on the relationship between the Christian West and the Islamic world, because there are ugly things afoot, and they've manifested themselves in the most hideous of all possible ways.
Why are they in
with
Western
regards-
nations? Why are they not in their own homeland killing each other? Why are they on
let them
our
go-
shores? They do
And
not
why-
belong in Western civilization ever.
And why, after
Yes.
we found this shit out, are they still alive drawing
For
breath?
the last 20, 30, 40 years,
This has been on
they've
since
been
the
allowed to stay
1980s.
here. They've been allowed to stay here, continuing to rape and molest young girls because whites are too afraid of being seen as being insensitive or not multicultural enough.
I don't
or
like
not
that I'm on YouTube
accepting
for this
enough.
particular video. I want to say more aggressive things.
So,
Well, we're enough in. You can probably say some spicy stuff, but I don't know, man. Like, it's infuriating. It's infuriating.
You know what? Let me look up that Theoden quote I like so much.
Yeah, loud noises. Exactly.
To these rape crimes and the cover-up. But there's something that needs to be sorted out at the bottom of all this.
We
And
don't
one of those
sort out.
is, like, you talk about moderate Muslims. Like, I looked up the the polling data today that Winston Marshall, for example, referred to when he interviewed Nigel Farage. And, you know, it's about 3/4 of UK Muslims would be perfectly content if Sharia law happened to be the, what would you say?
Law of the land?
Principle of the day for the UK as a whole. And that it would...
I won't play it here, but what I highly suggest is go watch Callum's channel, which I think is called... Shoot, what's Callum's channel called on YouTube?
Well, once you look for that, I'll read off this quote from Tolkien.
Sure.
We will have peace when you and all your works have perished, and the works of your dark master to whom you would deliver us. You are a liar, Saruman, and a corrupter of men's hearts. You hold out your hand it to me, and I only perceive a finger of the claw of Mordor, cruel and cold. Even if your war on me was just, as it was not, for were you 10 times as wise, you would have no right to rule me and mine for your own profit as you desired. Even so, what will you say of your torches in Westfold and the children that lie dead there? And they hewed Hamer's body before the gates of the Hornburg after he was dead. When you hang from a gibbet at your window for the sport of your own crows, I will have peace with you and Orthenic. So much for the house of Eorl. A lesser son of great sires am I, but I do not need to lick your fingers. Turn elsewhither, but I fear your voice has lost its charm.
A while back,
All right. If you heard that. What I would suggest, though, if you really want it, that was an insane quote. Callum, formerly of Lotus Eaters, did a video a little while back. This is it. It's called Tourism in Merry Old England. This is it. I won't copy image address. Wait, yeah, there we go. It's Politica Britannica.
So I wanted to make a video about British culture and
Or
British...
just called Britannica. Here we go.
This is just going to anger me.
Why am I not? Oh, it's because I'm on the Broken Crown channel. But no, I'm not going to play it. It's quite long. But what he does here is that he goes from the least British by ethnicity town. Sorry, Callum. Trying to find a decent screenshot of him. Here we go. He goes from the least British town to the most British town, or English, in England, and it's one of the most harrowing videos I've ever seen. I mean, it's truly some of the towns he goes to. Like, look at this.
What people mean by that. We begin our journey in the borough of London known as Brent. This particular neighbourhood is 0.0% English and 82.8% Indian. As a result, the stores here sell clothes in an Indian fashion. The food and the cheap junk is also Indian. And advertising is also Indian. And the use of foreign language is not just in the stores.
This is in London.
I didn't need to go that far. Bethnal Green, my father's side of my family are from. It's completely Pakistani Indian out. Fucking Shamima Begum is supposedly from Bethnal Green, the same place where my father grew up.
Mm-hmm.
The second we lost the Cray twins is the second we lost London to these fucking scum.
It's unbelievable. This is England. This is London. And the signage itself. It's not just this. By the way, the official signage on the streets is in Arabic.
Galactic
signage.
Galactic Emperor
on the
Shalem
streets.
brings up a point for $5. Are they bringing this up now to make Christians more willing to go fight Muslims in the Middle East? Most likely.
Mm. If you're wondering why they're doing this, probably
those of you in England, you've got your own fucking war to fight at home. You're going to have to, whether you like it or not.
Yo, my credit score is low as fuck already. I don't give a shit. Let's continue with this, shall we?
Would be fine if Islam became the national religion. Now, that's 75%. So, you know, a cynic would say, okay, just exactly where the hell are these moderates? And at minimum, their voice needs to be amplified. And then we could also point out that the participation in these rapes by members of...
Wait. No. I do not want moderate voices to be fucking amplified, because that's you trying to fucking normalize this shit.
Yep.
I don't want you to be normalized. I want you to fuck off.
Yep.
I do not want your religion. I do not want your kind. I do not want anyone but Europeans in fucking Europe. End of fucking story. I don't want anything but Christians. Christians, let me say that fucking directly. I don't want the fucking them either. I want Europeans to be Christians and fucking Christians only.
Yep.
The only job they're fit to do is to feed the fucking crows.
Yep. Agreed 100%.
Fucking
the Pakistani Muslim community. It was like 1 in 7 of the men in some of these communities was directly involved. And that meant everyone knew about it. Absolutely everyone on the Pakistani Muslim side. And the moderates were certainly, silent and complicit. Now, obviously, so were the authorities. And so that's a complete...
What a fucking kind of like wipe away on that. They were complicit. They knew about it. They covered it up, Jordan.
Catastrophe for everyone involved. But there's a serious conversation.
Jordan, why did they cover it up? Because you're not allowed to criticize brown people. That's why. Doesn't matter how many children they
They say
rape.
we all bleed the same. Let's test the theory.
Doesn't matter how many children they rape. As if they're brown, they must be good because white people bad. Let's just accept that this is the reality of the way that the left thinks about things. Including Jordan Peterson.
In the UK, maybe France and Germany in secondary place, about just exactly how it is that liberal Western democracies, with their emphasis on the rights of women, can live side by side with Islam in general, especially the sort of Islam that's transformed into enabling fundamentalism that allows this sort of criminality.
It started that way when they were still raiding outside of Mecca.
This is insane. Jordan, this is what Islam is, you silly Billy.
If the only shield they have is the color of their skin, maybe we should take it from them.
They always do this. It's like, oh, it's this particular sect of Islam. It's a particular aspect of Islam. No, it's fucking not. You know what they do? You know what Islamists do to people who call themselves Muslim who violate these kinds of rules? They fucking kill them. Look what happened to universal Sufis and Sufis in general. How about that?
Ask how the Yazidis are going.
By the way, Jess Phillips is back at her normal shit, complaining that she's not being raped, but saying she's very scared about being raped.
Trust me, love. With a face like with a face like hers, she's got no problem at all.
She votes for unlimited migration to the UK. And now she's claiming her life is under threat because of Elon Musk. Look, let me tell you this thing, Jess. As a bisexual woman, I wouldn't rape you either. I'll say it again. I wouldn't do it. Carl was right. He wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Holy shit, I definitely wouldn't.
Spears, pikes, and blades would rather perish than penetrate you.
Holy shit, you think I look like Skeletor? What the fuck, bitch?
It's like just Cinderface.
People who don't know what they're talking about,
She looks like a bloke.
You look like a fucking tranny.
You look like a guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Silence women like me.
She sounds like one, too. Jesus Christ, not much better on the other side of the
Are you
board.
having to go about your daily life differently at all?
Yes, my daily life is currently different. I won't go into the details of that, but yes, it is.
Why are her ears so gigantic?
Is Jess Phillips a tranny? Is this has not been revealed? Because she used to look more like a woman in the past, so I think she's just aged really poorly.
Yeah, it's called age.
Oh
It's called age and cocaine.
Why are her ears so ginormous?
I don't know,
She
but
does
she's
have
aged.
massive ears.
She's aged really miserably. Wow.
Yeah, her
She's got a
voice
really
is
tiny mouth
unusually deep.
and big old horse
Being in
teeth.
this spot.
Yeah.
She looks like she's been cobbled together from spare parts in fucking Dr. Moreau's lab.
It looks like she hasn't slept for quite a while.
Yeah.
Being in this spotlight like this and the information.
Lights the
of
best.
what
No one knows
fucking
who the fuck
Elon
you
Musk
even are.
is.
No, she puts herself in the spotlight and then goes, "Oh no, I'm being attacked for the insane things I
But
said
no one
and
is
did."
attacking her. She's cringe and ugly.
She is being attacked because she's supporting. She has actively said that the Muslim rape gangs aren't real. They're fake. They're made up. It's a far right conspiracy theory. It doesn't matter the fact that everyone now knows it's real. Everyone has admitted that it's real. We all knew it for the last 40 fucking years, but it's now all been admitted that it's real. It's like, oh, people are being mean to me because I lied about it. Yeah, no shit, bitch. God.
the disinformation, as I believe the Prime Minister referred to it as, has put out about...
Oh, because Keir Starmer called it disinformation as he is trying desperately to flee from it. Yeah, okay. Tie yourself to Keir. Good job.
...me is endangering.
It's endangering you. I just want to be absolutely clear. Are you saying that as a result of some of Musk's tweets, that the threat to you has gone up? And
what fucking threat?
Things are in place to protect your safety?
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
Can I just point out?
Oh my god, what a simpering fucking cunt.
This crap is why I don't want women in politics.
No shit.
Because you people are fucking pathetic creatures. You're sitting here whining that a fucking South African immigrant to America made you safe. Just shut up. This is unbelievably fucking stupid. I detest that this is the state of my nation. Like, Western civilization has come to this shit. This is fucking embarrassing.
Yeah, it is.
Piss off.
If the lack of action from the local people is what's necessary to maintain this, what is this to save? What we have now?
Right. Is this what we're saving? What's the point in saving the West if this is what we're fucking saving?
What we have now is nothing but a massive cancer crawling across the surface of the earth, just bobbing along in the ocean. Just fucking...
This kind of shit makes me go, I welcome a dictator. Give me the despot. Give me the autocrat that's going to, like, smash everything with an iron fist. I'm not scared of an authoritarian. Like, I would welcome that change.
Unfortunately, what you're going to get is someone like Keir Starmer as the despot.
Those of you at home who are looking for a sign, here it is. If you've got a niggling little scratching a voice in the back of your head that's waiting for a sign, here it is.
Let's be very clear, Spoon. What happened in Canada is very illustrative of that. They got a dictator. It was Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau was a dictator of Canada. He just was.
You push ass bit.
Yeah.
If he's a dictator, but people still voted for him, that tells you how stupid the fucking people are.
Sure. Well, he resigned, I think, and by the way, I
think
that it's very true that why Trudeau resigned is because he knew he might be voted out, and he couldn't tolerate that. Even though I think, honestly, he would have won. Because Canadians are that much of cocks. I know we've got Canadians in the audience. I'm not talking about you guys. But Canadians are such fucking cocks that they'll just go like, oi, okay, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do, so I'll do whatever I'm supposed to do, mate. You know? More maple syrup.
The lot in life that you get as a woman who fights
you sounded like
women
that.
And girls. I've learned.
You sounded like...
I've learned that it's ups and downs.
I don't know how to do a Canadian. The only Canadian accent I know how to do is "Jean François Goody-Bez,"
no,
which is a
you know what she sounds like.
Accent.
You played Fallout 3. The chick in the chick who sends you on the dangerous missions to make the handbook, surviving the wastelands. Moira, yeah, you sound like her.
Well, Arden, I know.
She acts like her too.
Arden is our local Canadian friend, and he does know. No, I don't. Actually, I don't know, dude. I think that a lot of those votes were legitimate. Probably not all of them, but a lot of them were. Because I've talked to other Canadians, Dev, for example, and they worship the state. They go, oh, God. Oh,
they
please,
go to the Swedish
government, please abuse me.
Enough
I
of the
can't wait
pageantry.
for more.
Yeah, it annoys me.
Yeah, so, anyway.
In my life, but... What
life? Is this a lot? Is this like what you call a life to you?
It's worth it to me.
What a sad, fucking miserable statement.
I know.
That's what's worth it to me.
Oh, is it?
And if I had to go through all of this, and I hadn't changed the way local areas deal with grooming...
She speaks with the tone of a traffic warden.
Yes.
Who is pleased to just write out tickets and act like she's making a difference. I'm sorry, this... as soon as you let women into positions of power, you end up with people like this.
Allowed thousands of girls to be molested and raped.
And murdered.
And look at how proud she is of it.
It talks like she has
Rape's only an issue when it's threatened at Jess Phillips.
It's just me. Yeah. It's only a problem when when Carl Benjamin says he wouldn't rape me. That's an issue. When British girls are getting raped by the thousands by Pakistani migrants, who cares a fuck? Look at this woman complained about Sargon of Akkad saying he wouldn't even rape her, saying he wouldn't rape her.
And there's pictures of her laughing in the House of Commons as they vote down.
Yes. But how threatened she was by that. Meanwhile, she just allowed this, knowing it was happening for a decade. For decades. Like, cares.
2 years' time, it wouldn't have been worth it. But I'm fairly certain that won't happen.
Unfucking believable. But Starmer now also is going to block the national inquiry into it. So, Labour has voted down the national inquiry into it. Of course not. Who cares about Musk? But who wants to read this part?
No, this is. I'm just.
Yeah,
we already know what.
Whatever.
The reality is that. It's just making me angry.
We've already covered all the talking points here.
MP votes. 364 votes to 111 against. Kimmy Badenoch called for a new probe into the scandal, which were dozens of vulnerable girls were abused, primarily by British
Pakistani. Hundreds, not thousands.
Thousands.
We've got at least 6,000 going in from 1 year alone.
Just 1 year alone, we know that.
If
So
you want
they're not going to look into it.
explanation, if you want an example of why democracy can fuck off and die, this is it.
As to who voted for what, here's a fucking list.
That's democracy. A bunch of rich wankers who rape kids are voting on whether we should investigate that kids got raped.
Yep. A bunch of rich
It's
fucking
legitimately
wankers who rape kids being like, we have investigated ourselves and decided that we should not be investigated for raping the children.
It's a house of wolves voting what's for dinner as the
Yes.
sheep outside watch.
It's so fucking infuriating.
I don't see how you can be a fan of democracy when you see
These
this
people all
shit.
need to go to the fucking guillotine. I'm sick of it. I'm sorry. Like, you need to go up on the block for this stuff. That
People
you have
forgotten
defended this.
all flesh
Children.
burns.
Thousands and thousands of young girls and boys, but mostly girls.
Can we move on from this topic
were
because like
raped.
it just makes me angry.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving on.
Just remember, folks at home, all people are mortal.
Well, this is sort of the same thing. House has passed the Laken Riley Act.
And it's women.
Well, Laken Riley, if you don't know, of course, was raped.
Every time I see women in
And
politics, it just makes me angry and just makes me more misogynistic. Just
Democrats
every time.
entirely voted against it with
That's because they're
48
satanic.
dissenters. Yeah. So the bill was named after 22-year-old Laken Riley, University of Georgia student who was recently murdered by a
You think
Venezuelan
women don't give a
illegal.
fuck about women, do they?
No.
No, because
No one hates women as much as women do, as much as I fucking tried.
I guarantee most of the women in Congress are jealous of Laken Riley because she's hotter than them. Or was, God rest her soul.
No, it's not even that personal. It's like, how dare she inconvenience my politics?
Oh yeah, she inconvenienced me.
Because everyone in politics is a fucking psycho who only believes that people exist to be at their convenience.
It's absolutely fucking disgusting. The illegal alien who murdered Laken Riley crossed into the U.S. on Biden's open border invitation. According to an affidavit unsealed, the barbaric savage who murdered Laken Riley disfigured her skull. Joe Biden will not even say her name. Yes, he's refused to do so. He'll say like, "Oh, somebody, a bad thing happened." Oh, and he walks away.
Face it, folks. Everyone lost World War II.
Yep.
Everyone did.
But I would say this is that there's now a new law in place saying that you can't just rape and murder American citizens and get away with it
because
you're
laws
an
really
immigrant.
help this.
Well, no, again, it doesn't mean any. Like I said, it doesn't mean much. But it is now actually technically against the law because beforehand it wasn't technically against the law for an immigrant to rape and murder someone. Now it is on the books as against the law to do so. The idea that it was never against the law is insane. However, on the better side of things, and I don't think it's really on the good side, just Trudy has resigned. We talked about this a little bit briefly.
It's a shame he didn't do it earlier. That way his dad in Cuba could have picked him up after work.
Yeah, well, Castro will, of course, pick him up. He is his dad. So,
Fucking
but why,
Fidel is dead and buried, thank fuck.
my big question here is, why did Trudeau resign?
My gut says that something's coming down the pipeline that would have sank him either way.
Probably.
I'm going to improve my bid. I'm going to listen to the Napalm Sticks to Kids.
It may be that Trump is threatening to annex Canada, Greenland, and Panama.
It's obviously a joke.
I think this is a joke.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing. I would think that, but I know he reads Bronze Age Pervert.
It's
And the
true.
major point of Bronze Age mindset is expansion of territory and using it as a way to galvanize people. And it also says the worst thing you can do is to have fake expand, like the idea of expansion of territory in a fake way, like fake masculinity. Because so I think that he might actually go for Panama, or at the very least lobby for Greenland. He will actually
Greenland.
try to acquire
He's
these.
not going to take Canada. That's not going to happen.
No one would
I
want
think-
the fucking place anyway.
Well, here's the thing. I don't want Canadians to be able to vote in American elections. It would destroy the entire country because they're all a bunch of cucks.
Just
No offense, Arden, but you know what I mean.
Stop. Okay.
Arden, you know what
Everyone
I mean
at
more than anybody.
home knows that when we speak generally, we're not tarring everyone with the same brush.
Yes.
Like no one here.
For the most
like,
part.
I mean, I am, but everyone else isn't. Like, but goddamn, you don't have to keep fucking qualifying shit. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I think
You
Trump
know
is.
who I
I
am.
think Trump is posting this on the so he can stoke people in because I know Greenland's got a really big separatist party there because they hate Denmark because everyone fucking hates Denmark for some reason.
Greenland's got like 800 people who live on it. You know, there's no one lives in Greenland.
It's good enough to be a launching point to explore most of the US.
Maybe.
But or become the US, I should say.
So
Mexico, we have a massive deficit with Mexico, and we help Mexico a lot. They're essentially run by the cartels, and can't let that happen. Mexico's really in trouble, a lot of trouble. Very dangerous place. And we're going to be announcing at a future date pretty soon. We're going to change because we do most of the work there and it's ours. We're going to be changing sort of the opposite of Biden, where he's closing everything up, essentially getting rid of $50 to $60 trillion worth of assets. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers
Greenland have oil.
a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate. It's appropriate. And Mexico has to stop allowing millions of people to pour into our country. They can stop them. And we're going to put very serious tariffs on Mexico and Canada, because Canada, they come through Canada too. And the drugs that are coming through are at record numbers. Record.
I mean, good. Gulf of America, people are very upset about this.
Well, here's what you do.
Okay, Greenland currently has 57,000 people.
That's less than
That's a
here. That's
small town.
embarrassing.
Yeah, it's a small town, whereas it's a microcontinent.
Okay. Here's what I would suggest. Have her annex the two locations and then make every single person involved apply for citizenship rather than have it allocated directly.
I don't want a single Canadian to be given American citizenship, even if we were to annex it, because Canadians are awful. Not all of you, again, not all of you, but you're the people who were like in favor of.
We already know.
We already gave
People
the
were
caveat.
like, let's just kill everybody who. Well, our Canadian healthcare system, which is the best in the universe, just can't take care of everybody. So let's just kill anyone whose diseases we don't care enough about. Cool beans. So here's Biden's kickback on the stuff. Watch this. By the way, Biden, brilliant president, the best ever.
President Trump saying he's a threat to democracy. Here's what he said just moments ago. He also scolded some reporters.
Do you still believe he's a threat to democracy?
Oh my god, this music's so fucking loud.
I didn't expect to get
hear
fucking
anything.
ear blasted by goddamn
ear-
poker
ear
music on this time of night.
Yeah.
He did was a genuine threat to democracy. My being the oldest president, I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your whole goddamn life.
That's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing.
So, Bill, just to reiterate there, President Biden calling former President Trump, President-elect Donald Trump, a genuine threat to democracy. And the question...
Let's be clear what they mean by democracy.
Hegemony, we've been over it.
They mean hegemony. We don't have to go over it
regime.
again.
This is so fucking boring.
However,
not this bullshit. This bird flu bullshit already blew over. They already got rid of the fucking we got rid of free range eggs for like 2 fucking years, and now this bullshit started up again. It's a load of crap.
Look at these costs. $14 for a dozen eggs.
Man, I thought it was a bad over here.
I can buy that at work. I can buy 2 trays of 30 for less than that.
I know, but $14 for a dozen eggs. This is what they're facing in the United States, particularly in California. $14 for a dozen eggs. Thanks, Biden. That's going great. We should just elect more people just like you. Now, also, minimum wage is going great, as we talked about earlier with the bit of the Indian stuff. Popular restaurant unable to survive even one day on the $21 minimum wage law. City of Seattle, Washington hiked minimum wages to $21 an hour on New Year's Day. Some businesses had to close their doors, including one restaurant whose owner still somehow supports the new law. Because they're a bunch of whoever owns it is terrified of being targeted by insane lefties who will show up at his or her house, woman, Karina, at her house, and attack her and throw eggs at it they can't afford to buy. Scrapping the previous rule, saying the businesses could pay workers $17.25 as long as they also made at least $2.27 per hour on tips with medical benefits, according to local reports. Outlets reviewed Karina Lukenbach, who ran the Bebop Waffle Shop, was forced to shutter the business permanently because of the new measure. This is financially just not going to make sense anymore, she described to the outlet, because just for me, the increase would cost me $32,000 more a year. Lengthy post from the Bebop Waffle Shop on Instagram page offered similar reflections, but also the strange admission that Lukenbach still supports the very law which put her out of business because she's a fucking lefty lunatic.
Also, I'd point out waffles have like some of the waffles have like the largest profit margin out of almost any food, barring like soup.
Isn't this insane though? This is she's a hardcore lefty. She has been driven out of house and home of her business because they're making her pay so much more money for people who don't give a fuck. And she's still being like, but I still support it.
Folks at home, just because you aren't actively fighting doesn't mean you're not at war.
Yeah.
Buck your ideas up.
It's a hard post, but Bebop will be closing this year. Our last day of being open will be December 31st, and we'll have a New Year's Eve party here. It's all are welcome. Yeah, we just never...
Could you give me some more vehicle pry?
Got back after the pandemic, not really. And the costs keep going
Dressing
up.
like the Australian version, H3.
Mm-hmm.
I totally support the minimum wage increase. I think everybody should make more money, but 32.
This is closed
What
down.
an insane thing to say.
Oh my God,
everyone should make more money, but I literally cannot afford to pay it to you.
I can't be bothered at this time of night and this deep inside to crunch the numbers and how many extra people, how many people is being employed if 32 grand.
Okay.
Is the extra
Let's watch
cost?
hosting then.
Like, but all those people are now unemployed. Every single one.
But it's
and they work at a waffle shop. They're unemployable. I don't need pageantry. I don't need a repeat.
Here's Sunny hosting. Here's a stupid thing she said.
Condoleezza Rice, I believe, on this very show saying, we need to move on from January 6th. I say no. You don't move on because January 6th was an atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history.
What was it? Lionel Nation had the funniest explanation.
I watched your video. His video on that.
He said January 6th was basically a bunch of people who didn't get up like a parade permission. I thought that was like a fucking great explanation.
But no, it's worse than slavery, the Trail of Tears, all those times you dosed like retards with nuclear waste in their porridge, like retarded children, I might add. All the grooming scandals and the child rape and putting
a bunch of
Native American children with Christian families to brainwash them into their way of life. All of this pales in comparison to like 20 dudes having a sojourn through a fucking velvet rope tour.
Yeah, and as everyone has said in the chat, is that woman from Portland? She voted for that. She's like, oh, I'm bankrupt now. I'm so sad, but at least somebody else is happy. Maybe no one else is happy. Your business is just gone. You voted for it,
leave
so
poor bike
suffer with it.
cunt.
Bye.
And when you think about the worst moments in American history, like World War II, things that happened, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery.
I don't remember the Holocaust being an American thing.
But Sonny Hosteen is such a fucking retard. It's such a fucking retard that she thinks that World War II involved the Holocaust in America, apparently. Okay.
She's been talking to George Takei too much.
We need to never forget, because past becomes prologue if you forget any race.
There you go. There's Sonny Hosteen.
President-elect Donald.
Who knows? Who has any idea what the fuck that means? It's just that January 6th is on the same level as the Holocaust, is what she was saying. Okay? Whether or not
the numbers are inflated,
whatever you think about the Holocaust, Sonny Hosteen just said that January 6th was another Holocaust. Okay?
Well, it did involve a bunch of people being locked up without trial, so maybe she's got a point.
Again, not saying anything about it. That's Sonny Hosteen's words, is that January 6th is the Holocaust. Here's the reality, though, Sonny. Nobody gives a fuck. I'm going to show you.
Go back, 4 years ago, right? Trump's role on January 6, 2021 should make him ineligible to be president. The clear majority of voters said yes, 56%, 56%, and that was including removal from office.
From your CNN polls of entirely left.
What is this physiognomy? I know he's Jewish.
I know,
that's an obvious thing, but
yeah, obviously.
Good grief.
But
it's
looks like Robbie Rotten.
I told you, it's Jewish and like mixed with like discount Marco Rubio.
But this is interesting because in their poll of CNN voters, of CNN viewers, they all thought that Trump was ineligible because of Jan 6. Watch what happens.
Of course, Donald Trump won the presidency, and part of the reason why was because views on Trump completely shifted, including Trump's role on January 6, 2021, should make him ineligible for the presidency. By 2023, 2024, it was just 47%. So we saw this drop of about 9 points, and that, of course,
it gets way more intense.
Going from a majority to short of a majority, and of course, Donald Trump won.
It's not the vast
majority of the other 53% who did not believe that his role on January 6th would make him ineligible for the presidency.
Still a big number, but not enough.
Correct.
Right.
This 9 points
because it's bullshit.
Tremendous.
All right, let's talk about the why behind it, Harry.
Yeah, why? All right, so part of the reason why is, okay, was Trump greatly responsible for the attack on the Capitol? You go back to January 2021, it was 48%. By the time of December of 2023, look at that. Again, a clear shift down to 37%.
Yeah, because he wasn't responsible for what individual people did, you fucking morons.
Point drop. Very much mirroring that drop that we saw, that the folks said that, of course, would make him ineligible for the presidency. So that is part of the reason why, right?
Oh, is it?
Fewer folks thought he was responsible, greatly responsible for what happened.
I love when CNN has to try and, lie to their audience, but try to do it in a seemingly convincing way. It's hilarious.
I can't wait to see them go out of business so Trump can buy them.
It's that people simply didn't care as much about the attack on the Capitol. Look at this.
Oops. Look at these statistics. These are the ones that are most important.
January 6th is your biggest memory of Trump's first term in office. By the time
Now remember, they keep telling us constantly, oh, what a great freeze frame, that Jan 6th is the reason why Trump is unelectable. The end of CNN's polling of their entire far left basis, only 5% say it's their biggest issue.
Because most people don't give a shit.
No one gives a shit, because no one cares about this.
Of
Look how upset they are about it, though.
Look at
They spent the last 4 years trying to make everyone freak out about this, and they can't even get their own base excited. Their entire base can't even reach 5%
this. It was just 5%. Just 5% of Americans.
It means that 2% of that was GOP. They can't reach 3% concern.
You could not have paid my ass to get out in front of a fucking camera and admit to this.
I know.
Thought he was greatly responsible for the January 6th attack, and more than that, as it went into the rearview mirror.
Oh my God.
Folks thought that it was their number one memory.
Yeah, and this is an extraordinary number, given that President
Oh, it is an extraordinary number, but explain why it supports your stupid side for some reason.
Biden, when he was still in the election, was really putting this as his main.
Didn't matter.
Can you believe that they're... Can you fucking believe they've got 5 and 2% out here acting like it's a big fucking deal?
Registering. All right, how about views of the results of the 2020 election this 4 years later?
Yeah, you know, this, I think, says everything, right? Because part of the reason those folks attacked the Capitol was because they thought incorrectly that the 2020 election results, in fact, did not reflect the view of the voters. Votes were cast and counted accurately. GOP voters after a given election, just 31%. Just 31% thought that about the 2020.
Well, would you like to talk about the statistics on when Trump won in 2016? Would you like to compare? Because I think the statistics were like 5% of the left thought that Trump actually won in 2016. And then you, CNN, told them they were right.
20 election, look at this. It
For
turns out
4
when you win
fucking
elections,
years.
Far more Republicans thought that the votes were cast.
Yeah, weird. Why would that be the case?
Point jump, John, and that.
Well, why don't you talk about your own fucking statistics? Oh, you won't? Because you're a bunch of lying fuckboys?
You got it. Congress's actual constitutional role. Harriet, and thank you.
Oh my god, I hate these people so much. Okay. So, this is only kind of funny. I just want to cover this real quick. California's on fire. It is every year, so it's kind of pointless. But yeah, okay, California's on fire as usual. Not good stuff. The Palisades, some of the richest areas in California, are on fire. It happens every year. I don't know, maybe we don't live in California. But what's funny, I guess, about it, it's not funny that people are dying and having their homes burned down. But what makes it kind of amusing is that the fire chiefs of California are two old lesbians. These are two old lesbians. These are the people in charge of the fires in California. So there you go.
Given the historical punishment for homosexuality, I would have thought that they'd have been more careful about preventing fires.
You'd think so. Now, I'm going to go on a rant here. We're going to watch this, and this is how we're going to end this stream.
All right, everyone else tuck in.
It's not long. It's only a minute long. I was talking about this earlier, this talk between Richard Hanania.
Jesus Christ, the fucking
Yeah, you see why I think Hanania is a Fed?
I mean, look at him. If you've got eyeballs, you can tell someone is just straight up a mutant.
You can just look at these two and go, which one do I prefer? I don't even need to hear what they have to say. I can just look and tell you the one at the bottom is
Richard
not evil and the one at the top is.
Richard is wearing eye makeup. Let's be clear, right?
I don't care. He
really
looks
highlights
like a
how
fucking
fucking
mutant.
crazy his eyes are.
I would say, by the way, Tero-san has apologized for the way he came off in this interview.
Why?
Because you're going to hear why. Because some of the things that he said here sounded very fucked up.
West Virginia is a strange problem. It is full of white people, but some of the lowest grade white people I believe I've ever seen in my life.
Jared, you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, you are.
No, I don't disagree. We are not all superior human capital. And I remember I spent a couple of days in the capital of West Virginia. Let's see.
Charleston.
Charleston, West Virginia.
Thank you.
And after
Pronounced it
walking
correctly.
around for a
Thank you.
while, I thought to myself, boy, there must be a city ordinance that says in order to live in this city, you have to be fat and have a tattoo and smoke cigarettes.
Okay.
Is
This
it true?
this is where most people stopped. No, it's not true. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but I'm going to go over what I sent to the group chat. I will read what I said because this really, really made me angry. It really made me pissed off. I'm tired and sick and disgusted by coastal elitists telling us that we're in the wrong and we're bad whites because we have been forced into an institution of poverty that has been enforced upon us for the last 300 fucking years, and I will not shut up about it. And I know that Jared Taylor-son knows better than this, but he's joking with this fucking freak who's got eyeliner on to talk about this. It's sickening. I will say my piece after this.
Really? Look, I'm not saying, I mean, like in all human groups, whites are on a bell curve. And somehow those at one unfortunate end of the bell curve seem to have ended up in West Virginia. Now,
I'm trying so hard. I am trying so hard. I am trying so hard. I am trying so hard.
these are still my brothers and sisters, and I want to bring them along in as useful a way as possible. I want them to be the best white people they can possibly be.
At least Jared Taylor-son says that. This other guy, look at this. By the way, Richard
Call it
Hanania,
preening faggot.
Palestinian, he's just smugly chuckling at this. He's so happy he can get Jared Taylor to say these things. And Jared Taylor, I really like to talk to you because I find it incredibly sickening that you would talk about my people this way. I know that you say they're still your brothers and sisters, but this is not the way that you should talk about your people from Appalachia. You don't understand us at all.
To play devil's advocate, he's never once claimed it was their fault that like this.
No, he did not.
They have had their lives cheapened by those who have taken advantage of them over the years, and they have been, let's face it, like victimized by carpetbaggers and scumfucks.
But he
and
doesn't
that's
go into
cool
any of
Jews.
that.
Yeah, but he literally just said, "I want to get them to where that standard is." So he did not.
Jared
insult
Taylor
them
is
as
hoping
individuals.
to raise these people up, which is why
Yes.
I still have good positive opinions towards Jared Taylor, not Richard Hanania and his fucking eyeliner.
But
That's
West
my shadow, by
Virginia
the way.
is not where the best ones are.
It's incredibly
True.
fuck off.
West Virginia is a strange.
Fuck off.
You sound
West
like
Virginia is not
Boston
where the
the way you
best
said
ones
that.
are. Are you out of your fucking mind?
They off again.
When I brought up this shit up, people said I brought up John Nash, and they said, well, he left. Yeah, but he's a West by God Virginian. He was born and raised in West by God. So what the fuck? Does it matter because he left? So all of a sudden, does it matter? Excuse me. All of a sudden, he's not a West Virginian because he left West Virginia. So did I. I'll read what I just said here. I told you guys this morning. I said it's been West Virginia has been a national punching bag for over 300 years, long since before the Civil War even. Largely because the first settlers were Scots and Irish who bought subsistent farmland there for nothing
And alcohol.
because it was not good for farming. I'm trying to read something.
Okay.
I wrote this to you literally earlier today at 2:00 in the afternoon. With the Blue Ridge being a natural barrier between the flat, hardy land to the east, the logging industry became the main local source of income, with logging companies buying the land back from settlers for almost nothing and then paying shit wages to those who sold it to them. They cut down so many trees that the tops of the mountains, and this is real, used to catch on fire. Both the original and the modern White House, along with most of the historical buildings in Washington, D.C., are built with West Virginian lumber. The silica in our streams is the purest, or some of the purest, in the world. But as glass blowers were replaced with more modern methods that used less pure silica for similar results, the glass industry died too, with plastics putting the final nail in the coffin. Of course, when the massive coal deposits were discovered, land was again purchased en masse from the settlers for nothing, and immigrants and black slaves were imported to work the mines, indebted to the company stores to buy their tools and live in company housing while being paid only in script. Not in real money, money you could only use at the company store. Increasing environmental regulations prevented ongoing mining, and what is being done largely now by automated machinery in mining in West Virginia, which creates almost no jobs, with the coal companies largely being now foreign-owned. The same thing has happened with the steel industry since the 1950s. The Japs and the Yanks bought all the steel mills, and then they all shut them down in favor of cheap, trash Chinese steel. The feds then flooded these exact same people, these exact same areas, who had lost every economic opportunity that they had ever had with drugs, like fentanyl and opioids. The only job that you can get now in West Virginia is either manual or low-skill labor, which makes living on Gibbs while getting drunk and high and gambling your money away is what most West Virginians end up doing. We have been completely shit upon by the feds and the Yanks, and it has been going on for hundreds of years. But haha, stupid fat hillbillies, I'm so tired of it. I'm sick and tired of being treated like a fucking stupid hillbilly. And then when I leave my fucking home state, just, brain drain. Brain drain? Yeah. What the fuck do you mean? What do you want me to do? I can't live in my home state. Because there's nothing for me to do there.
Let's not forget the fucking final nail in the coffin, which was the fucking national park system, which cordoned off vast areas that could have been used for mining and development, and made it just like, okay, we'll just let it go to rot. There are entire towns and cities in West Virginia that are cordoned off because they're part of the national park system.
Yes.
Like the most affluent and industry-rich areas were the places that got hit the worst by it.
Kevin, who cares, Aiden? I care. And this is what more of us should care about. Let's be real. We should care about our homelands, places that we come from. When you stop caring about the place that you are from, you're fucked. I care so much about West Virginia because that's where I'm from. That's my homeland. I know that you care about South Africa, Spoon. I know you do. I know Bill cares about Guernsey. We care about the places that we are from and the people from which we originate. And if you start to be like, that's gay, why do you care? Why do you care if your people who are like you struggle and suffer? If you are feeling that way, you fucked up. I'm sorry, you fucked up. If you can't care about your own, what do you have to care about? I don't know. Anywho, that's the end of my rant about that. The reality is that, yes, there's been a kind of push in that talk between Hanania and Jared Taylor-san that West Virginians are stupid. And what really irritates me is that I grew up my whole life hearing liberals, leftists on TV, making fun of West Virginians and calling us a bunch of hillbilly, inbred rednecks. And now I hear the right say the same thing to call me a hillbilly redneck. And then when I say, okay, what about myself? What about Dr. John Nash? And they say, well, that's good that you all John Nash went to MIT. Okay, so that's a good thing? The brain drain is good? And so you can make fun more of the poor people left in Appalachia? It's good for them to send their most best and most qualified outside of their region? Oh, excuse me. I'm not going to accept that, and I think that's fucking disgusting. Oh, we should send our best and brightest away? No. The 300-plus year-long discrimination against West Virginians that has occurred in the United States, predominantly from coastal elitist leftoids, is the most fucking disgusting shit I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. And Yiz is right on that too. As another fellow Appalachian, we have been mistreated and considered to be subhuman garbage for 300 fucking years. And I'm tired of pretending it's not the truth, because it is. We're not that way, though. We're good people. We're some of the best people you could ever meet in your fucking life. And it's sickening. Oh, well. Anywho, I'm going to read the rest of the super chats, and I think we're going to head to bed. Where was I? Thank you guys so much for supporting the stream, and for hanging out, guys. Hopefully my video will be out tomorrow. I think it'll be okay. I have to upload it tonight. It might give me some issues. We'll see how it goes down. Major Metroid for 2 says, Spoon, are you made of silver or stainless steel?
Silver.
Oh. Dear Tis King for 10 says, I am of the opinion that India would have benefited from communism. Really? It would have thinned the herd and broken the caste system. That's probably true, actually.
Hot thickens. So I was like, wait, let him cook. Let him cook. There we go. Someone will... Maybe it's a sore point bringing up communism and cooking together.
How do I read this? MO is current. Jeez. MO is currency for 5 says, as an American of founding heritage, me too, it is an economic zone until we prove it isn't. We deserve what we tolerate. I disagree, man. America is an identity.
Needs to reaffirm it, so.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. And that just crashed. At least it'll come back, though, I think. There we go. I think America is more than a economic zone. I disagree with that, man. EC90 for £2 says difference between folk and mass pop culture. Yeah. Horwitz, Feinberg, and Horwitz for $10 says Spoon is a 1%er. Nice. Slosher for 20 Canadian says 1/3 of Canadians are born outside of Canada. Our standard of living has been plummeting for the last 20 years. I don't know why anyone would think the same policy would work in the U.S. They don't think it will work because they don't care about you. They want to bring the lifestyle of everybody down. And then say, well, just deal with it. Sage, who has been a member for 2 months, just said based. Galactic Emperor Schlerm for 5 says, are they bringing this up now to make Christians more willing to go fight Muslims in the Middle East? Probably. That is what I am anticipating, yeah. Zen the Despot says, Trudeau leaving office is a step in the right direction. Now we need to banish the taxi drivers from the Western Hemisphere and all of Europe. Like, when I was in England last, it was just like, oh, some Albanian will come and bring you your food on a bicycle, and they always did. Horwitz, Feinberg, and Horwitz for 10 says, is it any wonder the most ardent fascist supporters are called brown shirts? They beg for... Oh, I think I read this. They begged for and decorate themselves with shit that falls upon the great heights. Yes, I did read that. And then TK for 5 says, give me a few $1 million this year and I'll pretend to care about J6 all day. Yeah, right, but that's how it all works. Again, give them money and they'll pretend to care. Sir, Mr. Scary the Terry for $20 says, I've recently come to the conclusion that the reason many of our representatives are so old is because many U.S. influencers and podcasters choose to comfortably sit and laugh instead of running for office. Thoughts? Well, I can't run for office. I'm way too autistic, man. You think I could do that shit? I mean...
I'm running this year.
I'm no more drunk than Kamala Harris was, to be fair. But...
I'm running for office over here this year.
Yeah, Mayor Rees, Scrump would have some spicy words for you on this one. I doubt it. I'm basically just reciting Scrump's own fucking dogma here. So, I'd be surprised if he would. Anywho, I think that's it. That's my whole stream. Sorry for the week away. My video should hopefully be out tomorrow, if not at the very latest on Friday. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Oh shit, Lance for $10 says saw Sonic 3 with a family on the year. I have to ask, know how much Aiden likes Sad Boys. What are her thoughts on the saddest of video game Sad Boys, Shadow the Hedgehog?
Oh God, don't.
I've never played. I have played some Sonic
Disgusting
games.
black creatures.
I was never into the Sonic games, even though I know that they apparently like really capture autism, but they never appealed to me that much. So and I've not seen any of those films, so I have no idea. Thank you though, Lance. I just have no clue. I don't know anything about Sonic. Sorry. All right. Are we cool?
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. We're going to go to bed now. Cheers. Love you all. See you next week.
Kill your local drug dealer.
Yep.